6:02 in the Rose City. Time for Dirt and Sprague on Portland Sports Leader 105.1 The Fan and the Fan Sports Network. We get the soundboard on there. There we go. Yes.
There we go.
Yes. Brandon Henson over there on the ones and twos, doing 90,000 things right now.
And it's my fourth day straight on this weird body clock, so I apologize ahead of time.
How are you holding up, man? Be honest.
I'm doing
it's okay.
better than
we're in a trust
probably
tree.
Tuesday, but we're still, had to get the nap in yesterday.
Yep.
And we're hanging on.
So Tuesday was the harder day for you?
Yeah, I would say that was probably the hardest. That one's probably hit the hardest so far as my tiredness.
Yeah. Yeah. Usually when you do this, it's like sometimes it's the most random, like your Monday, your Tuesday, your Wednesday, and you're like, oh my God, the week's almost over. I have Thursday, Friday. And you could even get decent sleep on Wednesday night going into Thursday. And for whatever the reason, it could just be the most random Thursday. You wake up and it just crushes you. And you go, oh, dude, not right now. No. For you, that was Tuesday.
Yeah, I would say so.
Are you going to be in tomorrow? Do you know if that's happening?
I don't know yet. Swag hasn't texted me or anything, so
Swag has only given us
still expect Swag to be here tomorrow.
He's only given us one text being out all week. And it was good news about his dad.
Okay, good.
But it was basically update on dad health. That was it. We all kind of responded. Haven't heard from him. So
I will double check after the show and make sure that somebody is here tomorrow.
Well, I assume you're going to be in, actually. That's kind of my
okay, let's assume that.
That's where my mentals are going.
Let's keep this Brandon takeover going for one more day.
Yeah, an all-Brandon show. How about this? A first in my career. I've never just had an all-Brandon show. Dirt is out today. I don't think that's shocking if you tuned in yesterday at any one point or you saw on the YouTube.
Were flying yesterday.
Dude. I'm going to kind of defend the YouTube audience here that we're giving him a lot of grief. So if you were watching on the YouTubes yesterday, thank you, as always. But he was like multiple times from about 7 to the end of the show, like during segments, having to blow his nose. And I look over here, and I heard it the day before. He came in, I could tell he wasn't quite right. And then we start doing the show. And if you're not feeling quite right, but then you have to do a radio show, it just all starts to, show itself. And so I'm like, the whole time, I'm like, just don't get me sick. Just don't get me sick. And then, like, I had to leave the studio a couple commercial breaks, and I'm doing whatever I can to not even touch the door handle. I'm like, ugh. I want nothing to do with what he has. It looks awful. And I just knew that he wasn't going to be in today. I, looked at him. He was borderline crying because of how, congested his nose was. And I'm seeing him get water after the show. And I tell you and I tell him, I'm like, dude, 4:30, this cat is going to text, sorry, boys, I'll see you Friday.
Yep.
And it was 2 hours late, but
Yep.
6:30 we get the text. You guys knew the text was coming. He looked terrible. I don't know what he has, if that's a cold, is it the flu? I couldn't tell because he kept talking about his body heat being off. I'm like, what do you have? And it's also kind of funny to give you a backstory real quick here, Brandon. So I was the first one of the show to have kids. I had kids at a really young age.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember going through a lot of experiences as a very young dad, like the kids 1, the kids 2. And lucky for me, I didn't really catch a whole lot from the kiddo, but I knew that like how much more you are open to the germ world with these rugrats.
Right.
And he, at the time, being a couple years younger than even me, he's even younger, and he's just like, maybe you should eat food off the floor more often. Yeah, I have the system of a gladiator. Just cocky sniffing his way that he is like the most indestructible human being to ever exist. And I just always laughed at it. Now he has a kid.
Yep.
And this is like the 4th or 5th time he's gotten sick just in like the last 4 months.
Yeah, your immune system literally deteriorates as the longer you become you're a father.
Yeah.
Like, I have a 4-year-old and 2-year-old. The 2-year-old right now has a runny nose. Like I literally had to wipe her nose probably every 10, 20 minutes.
So you're on
yesterday.
deck. You're on deck is what you're telling me.
Either me or my wife. Yep, one of us is going to go down, and it can't really be either of us because my wife has a opera opening night coming up tomorrow, and I have to do work the rest of the weekend, so we can't both be out.
Wait a minute, are we bearing the lead here? Your wife is an opera singer?
She is a magnificent singer, and she just started doing a community opera. I think it started a couple months ago, and their opening night is tomorrow.
Damn.
So
you're okay. So I don't know if you know this. Swag's wife also does like community theater.
Okay.
So she does like a lot of plays locally.
Yep.
And then on the side, she's, I think she's always trying to, be in a TV commercial or maybe get an opportunity. Like she went to Seattle not long ago for a role. So like I didn't know if you knew that about him and his wife. No. Because it sounds like your wife is doing the same thing, just in the opera.
She's starting
world.
it up. It's kind of just more of a hobby thing.
No doubt.
Just kind of do something to get out of the house, because when you're a parent, you seek those ways to get yourself out of the house. And
you don't want to go
crazy. For me, it's golfing, but that hasn't happened in probably 6 months.
You haven't golfed in 6 months?
Yeah, 1 because of the weather, and 2 because I have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old.
Are you a good golfer?
I was.
Oh, okay. So you're a good golfer.
So yeah, I did all 4 years of high school on the golf team.
Okay.
It kind of just kept it as a hobby after. I was never good. I mean, in high school I was shooting like 48 on 9. Like I wasn't that good of a golfer. I would say I got better.
That's breaking 100 by the way.
I know it. It's still under 100, which I'm sure a lot of people would take. But yeah, I got better. I would say my best was 3 to 5 over par on a full round.
Okay.
But it's slowly deteriorated as I've had to care for children.
Yeah.
And the gap between rounds has significantly stretched itself out. So I still got the sticks around the garage. They're waiting to get going here. Spring and summer are right around the corner, starting this weekend. So we'll get out there eventually.
Okay. Now, what area of town are you in?
So I'm Beaverton, north of Beaverton, that pocket of
that in between Hillsborough and Beaverton?
Yeah, it's like northwest Portland, so it's that kind of Cedar Mill, Bethany area that's still called Portland, but it's like the farthest west you can be that's still called Portland.
That is a very odd area.
Like Forest Park area.
It's beautiful.
It's
great.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I have family over there. It's just always odd to me to be that far west and then like a 2-second drive almost. It's like, hey, we're in Beaverton.
Yes.
But you look at the thing and it's like Portland.
Yeah,
I'm like,
you're
what?
in that pocket of Hillsborough, Beaverton, and Portland, but you're called Portland because
Yeah. Because of lines.
Right.
Imaginary lines that none of us can see.
Right.
We got to get you on the golf course. I didn't know you were a stick man.
Yeah.
Right.
I hear all of you guys talking about it, and I'm like, maybe one day we can all get ourselves out there.
Dirt used to be a really good stick. Like I was with Dirt when he broke par.
Mm.
He shot 1 under out at Stone Creek, and it was awesome to watch that. But since he's had a kid, he's in the same boat. Like, he'll golf, and then he won't golf for like 4 months.
Yep.
And then he'll golf again. And so the scores are going all over the place. And he
yep.
goes from being like pretty consistently a really good golfer to probably
you
still
act
okay.
Like you can't hit a golf ball anymore.
Yeah,
that's kind of where
those
I'm
moments.
at this point. Like
Right.
I'm hitting duffs left and right. I'm just like, what has happened to me?
Yeah, I just don't have a kid excuse. I'm just a terrible golfer.
Right.
But I like to be out there. I like to be included. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm just there for the vibes.
You're there for the vibes and the drinks.
Hit a couple good shots.
Sure.
Sink a long putt and feel good about myself.
Do something to tell a story about later, right?
Like, hey, man, I'm capable of getting birdies. I haven't put the work in, but I'm capable. That's the kind of golf life that I'm living. But, yeah, so Dirt is going to be out today, and it's just unfortunate timing because of the two of us, he's also the Duck alum.
Yep.
And yesterday, the Oregon Ducks got massive news on the national recruiting landscape.
Of course they did.
There's spring games this weekend, and so I was going to try to get a Duck guest on early in the week on Thursday's show, and then he just happens to catch the bug, and so he's out today, and so we're going to have to talk about the big commitment of one Will Menzel, and then Ryan Clark is going to hop on the show with us at 7:30, and we'll talk about that commitment, what it means, what it says about Dan Lanning to this number one quarterback in the class of 2027. Just having that moment, and then also maybe a little bit of a peekaboo of the Oregon spring game, which is going to be this weekend, which Dirt says he was going to go to, but now I'm not so sure because I don't even know if he's going to be in tomorrow.
Right.
I know he wants to be. I know we got Blazer playoff game to get to. I know he wants to share his thoughts on Oregon stuff because he is a spring sicko, but the way he looked yesterday, I don't know if only one day is going to solve that.
It better be like a 12-hour sleep plus a 2-hour nap and some heavy drugs to come back from that.
I think he's going to be heavy on the Dayquil.
Yes.
Some people don't believe in taking the Quill, but I'm a big Quill guy.
Do. Yes.
Give me some NyQuil, give me some Dayquil. I always have to double over the instructions of like, how many hours do I got to really wait before I can take this next dose? Yeah. What am I doing? Am I tempting the medicine gods here? So we got a lot to get to today. It is a very loaded show. It is your first time doing the Magic Hat.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
And you've told me that you have personal things that you want to throw in there, which I'm excited about.
If we are fortunate enough to get down that alley, then so be it.
Oh, we will. Trust me, we will.
One way or another.
I got some stuff that I want to get to in the Magic Hat, but we're definitely going to touch on all things Brandon Henson's life. So we'll get to that. Magic Hat in the 9 a.m. hour. As I mentioned, Ryan Clark at 7:30. Happy NFL Draft Day, everybody. A lot to discuss in the NFL Draft, which is tonight. We have the NBA playoffs, college football, news and notes, not even just Oregon. We got stuff outside of the city of Eugene to discuss as well. So it's a loaded show. Thanks for hanging with us. Let's get it going. Dirt and Sprague on a Thursday edition on 105.1 The Fan. right, welcome back in. Hanging out with you this Thursday morning. Brandon Sprague in. Andy Dirt Johnson is out. Hanging with Brandon Henson. An all-Brandon edition of Dirt and Sprague here on 105.1 The Fan, Portland sports leader. Hope your Thursday commute is okay. Seemed relatively calm on my way in. And the weather's supposed to turn. So we went from drizzling all day to potentially sunshine. The NBA playoffs. We talked a lot about the Blazers, their Game 2 win on the road at San Antonio. We'll get into a lot of the Game 3 stuff. Got a little Blazers on the show sheet today. We got a big teaser. Big old Blazer teaser yesterday, getting a lot of people hot and bothered. So we'll talk about that coming up at the top of the hour. But looking around the other series in the NBA playoffs is not something we did yesterday. We didn't talk much about the Lakers-Rockets. Lakers are up 2-0 in that series. Right. And some of these series I don't think people are really all that interested in. We'll talk about Oklahoma City-Phoenix because a development came out of that series yesterday in the third quarter that we must discuss. Mm-hmm. But in looking at yesterday's games, because it wasn't the sexiest one, the good matchups are tonight. We've got the Atlanta Knicks, you got Minnesota, Denver, and that's going to be your neighborhood restaurant group poll question of the day. What will you watch more of this evening? The NBA playoffs or the NFL draft? We will put that poll question up at Dirt and Sprague. Your neighborhood restaurant group brings the fan poll question on X every day. And dinner tonight at one of the 5 locations, Sandy O's, Big's Chicken, Reverend's Barbecue, 808 Hawaiian, and Laurelhurst Market. That's the one you're going to vote on. What do you think you're going to vote on there?
Easy
NBA
answer.
Playoffs or NFL draft?
NBA.
Really?
NBA. Yeah. I feel like the draft especially this draft where I feel like it's more about what trades happen than what players are picked, in my opinion. I'm sure that might be different. I think especially yesterday when we heard that some of the players and where teams are going to pick are interesting. But for me,
it's not a sexy draft.
It's not a sexy draft.
So defense, offensive lineman, cornerback, receiver, that's not very exciting versus, hey, we got like 3 or 4 quarterbacks in this thing. Where are they going to land?
Yeah, I think it's just more interesting about which teams are going to decide to trade out than who they're actually going to decide. And for me, that's not as interesting. I feel like that's something I can just check on my phone.
Versus paying it, like having it on the main screen.
Yeah, exactly. And especially with Prime, those having the games tonight and not able to multi-view those games.
Right.
I'm probably going to have NBA on the big TV and just keep eyes on the draft as it goes along.
The funny thing is I mentioned like Hawks, Knicks, and I think there's like a decent chunk of people that are just like, yeah, okay. It's like the NFL, man. You know? And
I get the other side of it too.
I'm
Absolutely.
with you. I'm probably going to have the NBA on the main with the Prime. But I'm going to bust out the iPad. I'm not going to use the phone. I'll bust out the iPad for the NFL draft. I said it at the start that it wasn't exciting, it wasn't sexy, and I know that's not fair to the other positions, but it just is more interesting with more quarterbacks. What I'm finding more fascinating as time has gone on, and I continue to just dive into the mocks, got Matt Miller's latest mock that I want to get through some of that today. Mm-hmm. It's just you talk about who's going to trade back. Is anybody going to want to trade up?
Right.
Like there's a lot of talk that the Cowboys might want to trade up. Okay, maybe that's the team that gets somebody to move back. But there's a lot of intel and buzz. The Cardinals don't want to stay at 3 because they really want to draft an offensive lineman. But basically, if they can't get out of 3 because nobody wants to trade them to get to 3, they might just take Jeremiah Love out of excitement. And I'm like,
right.
So you're going to draft somebody out of just excitement, even though you want an offensive lineman, but you think the value play for offensive lineman at 3 is just wrong? So I think there's elements of the draft. And then you got the Giants with 2 picks in the top 10. And is anybody at the back end, who's going to slip? Is it going to be Sadiq? Is he going to slip to the 20s? Is Thieneman going to slip? So we have local angles there. And then you add Ruben Bain. He's got short arms. And so I hear you. I think you're probably right. But I've gotten more excited for the NFL draft now that it's here tonight. But in answering the neighborhood restaurant group poll question of the day, I'm probably going to have the NBA playoffs on the main screen.
Yeah, I think, and I've been such on a NBA run the last 3-4 nights, it's hard to kind of flip the switch and be like, oh, I'm going to watch the draft for 2 hours and try to keep an eye on.
Yeah, 2 hours.
Hawks.
You mean like 4?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, see,
forever.
that's how out of it I am sometimes, especially with very unsexy drafts like this one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'll definitely be hooping it up tonight.
So I'm curious, last night, if you're hooping it up, if you're an NBA playoff guy, last night was a night for me. So I had basketball practice out of Meadow Park. The thing for me is I don't find, even though Orlando, I think, actually can win the series based on what we've seen in 2 games, and I know Detroit, they went on that huge third quarter, what was it, 36-6 run or whatever it was?
It was 30-3 to start the second half.
30-3 to start the second half is an insane run. Even though Detroit ended up pulling away because of that run, I still take away from that series, like, I didn't think Orlando played very well, and they were right within striking distance until that huge run.
For sure.
It's not the most exciting thing to say out loud. The Magic and Pistons series is super exciting. The other series is Phoenix and Oklahoma City, and if you don't have a technical foul weirdly called by the request of one team, I just don't know if anybody cares about that series whatsoever.
Right.
Even in the Phoenix area, I don't know if people care all that much. I know it's the playoffs, but still. So it's like you have your nights where it's not as exciting to get to the TV to watch versus tonight, you have the 2 best series being played tonight. Now, not Cleveland and Toronto. That series, nobody cares about that series. Right. But tonight you've got the 2 best series, I think, in all of the playoffs, back-to-back, going to be on Prime. So to me, it's almost it's a what's the more interesting nights versus, like, if you told me tonight was Orlando, Detroit, and then Phoenix, Oklahoma City.
Oh, yeah, no.
You're taking the NFL draft.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
Different situation.
It's a much different vibe if you have to choose between those 2 things. But what tonight is the 2 best series.
Also, it's the series outside of the Blazers series that people here are interested in. If you have the Blazer goggles on and are thinking, oh, who are we going to play in the next round?
Oh, no, I think that's 100% accurate.
So,
I mean, it's already a good series because it's Jokic versus
It's already
Ant,
a good series as it is, but then you're looking up ahead and you're like, oh, wait, we might be playing one of these guys in the next round too. So I think that also kind of comes into effect tonight too.
I think people are really going mentally, Brandon, with the, oh my God, we really can do this. Now, you can say Blazer fans in general always operate that way,
sure,
and that's true to some extent.
As every fan base, yeah.
I know some super big diehard homers, right? Being the second biggest homer on the radio station, I can tell you, I perked up a little bit when that Wemby injury happens, and now he's doing cardio to process the concussion protocol stuff. I still don't think he plays on Friday, but certainly in a realm where you watch Minnesota-Denver now and you're like, which matchup would we rather have?
Right.
And maybe it's probably a bit ridiculous in some ways because San Antonio blew a game and they're still really good. But you can't help but go there a little bit when you know the best player in the series is potentially going to be out for a game, maybe 2 games, and it all being kind of up in the air because that's a brain injury. So we don't know how it's all going to go. So that's your restaurant neighborhood or your neighborhood restaurant group poll question of the day. What will you watch more of, the NBA playoffs tonight or the NFL draft?
It's going to be close. I can see this being like a 55-45 vote happening on this one.
I think a lot of people would choose the playoffs, but I think overall, like, the NFL draft is going to get
a big
9 million people.
Yeah, especially the first round. It's a big day.
Is any playoff game going to get 9 million people to watch? No. And it looks like I'll say this about the NFL. I'm getting into the NFL draft more than I'm getting into the NBA. We'll get into the NBA playoffs, I promise. I'll say this about the NFL. So I was watching a lot of stuff yesterday, and all of the networks, they're stationed in Pittsburgh now. So like NFL Live is usually on at like 1 o'clock. They're in Pittsburgh. I'm watching the NFL Network, and if they're not doing studio stuff, they've got a crew on the ground in Pittsburgh. The best thing the NFL's done, I think, is have the traveling draft. I think it's so much cooler for fans to year in and year out say, oh, Pittsburgh. I've always it's random cities. Pittsburgh isn't the top at the tourist list, but if you're a diehard NFL fan, you'd be like, yo, I've always wanted to kind of see the stadium, the city. I've heard good things about Pittsburgh. I'm going to go to Pittsburgh because that's where the NFL draft is. Or just even having the draft in your own freaking backyard. Could you imagine doing a radio show in Pittsburgh today?
Yeah.
And you're like, hey, guys, the draft's here. We're picking 21st, but it's really not about our pick. It's more about like, dude, we got the NFL draft here today. How many different fan base? Remember the scene in Detroit? Detroit had like 1 million people in the hub area of their city where they were having the NFL draft. So to me, it's more just the exciting part of the NFL draft now isn't so much just about the picks or the trades. That's awesome.
Oh, no, it's an event.
It's an event.
Yeah, it's like a concert.
It's like something that the Blazers, if they're going to actually, if they've turned the corner here and they're truly going to consistently be a playoff team, I'm not going to be able to do this, but I'm like out loud, I'm like, I want to go to a draft one year. Like the Nashville one was one I was really interested in.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
I don't know what the next city is going to be. You should look that up. We should look that up, like what the next NFL draft venue is. But if there is if they go to Seattle, I could see myself driving up after a show to just be around the spectacle of having an NFL draft and seeing what that's like to witness live. And then just, by the time the mid-first round is over, instead of just hanging for every pick, just catching the rest of it on radio and driving down and, being able to do the show the next day. I think that, to me, would be exciting. What are you going to watch more of, the NBA playoffs or the NFL draft? Let's talk about the actual NBA playoffs. We'll move on from the draft. We'll get into that later. Super exciting to have the NFL draft today. But let's get to the NBA playoffs. We've got the Pistons tying the series, and we've got an NBA superstar given a technical foul on the request of a role player. Very interesting development last night in the Phoenix-Oklahoma City game. So we'll dive into that coming up next. But first, Brandon with a sports update.
Now, from the George McCoy and Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on the Fan, draft day is finally here. The 2026 NFL draft begins tonight with the first round live from Pittsburgh. Oregon tight end Kenyon Sadiq and safety Dylan Thieneman both expected to be drafted tonight, somewhere around the top 20 picks. You can listen to the draft on 910 ESPN Portland starting at 4 o'clock. Patriots head coach Mike Vrabel said yesterday he won't be with the team for the third day of the draft on Saturday. He said he is seeking counseling starting this weekend and plans to be with his family outside of Massachusetts. Last night in the NBA playoffs, both top seeds were flexing in the first round. The Pistons avenged their Game 1 loss at home to the Magic with a 98-83 win in Game 2 to tie that series at 1-1. The game was tied at halftime before Detroit unleashed a 30-3 run to start the second half and cruised to victory. Cade Cunningham with a double-double, 27 points, 11 assists. The Thunder took care of the Suns at home in Game 2, 120-107 for a 2-0 series lead. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander with an MVP-like performance, 37 points and 9 assists. His running mate, Jalen Williams, left the game in the third quarter with an apparent hamstring injury, something to keep an eye on as they head to Phoenix. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Brandon Henson from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work. Insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The home of the Fan Happy Hour with Luke Anderson. Weekdays 2 to 3. The Fan.
The Blazers give us a dirty little tease yesterday. City's losing their mind. Is Dame Lillard coming back? I don't know, man. We got eyeball emojis. Do you use emojis a lot when you text?
Here and there. It's timely.
But, like, if you're to tell your wife or a family member or a friend something, or you notice something, do you send the wide-eyed emoji as, like, a teaser for it? Knowing what that can cause and how that makes people feel?
I don't think that's my first go-to. Sometimes I do. I think it's usually like sports related when like something big happens.
Sure.
I'm like waiting for everyone else to kind of react to it in case I'm the one that's ahead of everybody else.
Yeah,
that's probably the only time I use it. But yeah, emojis are a very timely thing for me. So I prefer words, I guess.
I love the
kind of texter.
I love the wide-eyed emoji. I think it's great. And they did it yesterday, so we'll get to that coming up at the top of the hour. The NBA playoffs were playoffing yesterday, and we'll get to the Pistons Magic stuff. But let's start with a very bizarre sequence of events that led to something that most people covering the team are saying, I've never seen him this angry. So you have Phoenix and Oklahoma City yesterday. And to their credit, Phoenix was hanging around. They were right within striking distance of Oklahoma City. Here we go. Okay, game's not awful. Well, then we get to the third quarter. Things are starting to not go well. Devin Booker is going kind of by the sideline area. He gets bumped by Jalen Williams, and his momentum is taking him out of bounds. In an effort to save the ball from going out of bounds and having a turnover, Booker then throws the ball kind of backwards as if to, like, save it, right? Like if you jump in and then you're trying to save the ball. And as he throws it backwards, the ball then hits Jalen Williams. Well, whistle blows. Booker kind of goes into the crowd a little bit, comes out. Everybody looks totally like Jalen Williams isn't really reacting. Devin Booker looks totally calm. The ref calls a foul on Jalen Williams. Body bump, boom, that's a foul. Alex Caruso comes running over to the ref, and he's like, call a technical because he threw the ball at Jalen Williams. And the ref looks at Caruso, looks at Booker, blows the whistle, and calls a tech on Devin Booker. Booker is like, what? He's like looking around. He's confused. He asks the ref. The ref is not telling him anything. And like for the first, you don't see this very often. It's one thing for a player to say, yo, you need to review this. That's a flagrant one, or maybe it's a flagrant. Yeah, like let's go check it out. You have a player telling a ref to blow the whistle for a technical foul because another player threw the ball backwards and hit his teammate with it, even though neither one of them responded as if it was intentional. And Devin Booker gets hit with a tech and never explained why he got a technical foul. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying this never happened. I just can't recall at the top of my head a player telling a ref he needs to call a technical on that other player, and the ref going, you're right. Technical foul. Here's Devin Booker, and many writers talked about this in the postgame. Here is Devin Booker on the sequence of events, the explanation or no explanation on why he received the technical foul.
I still haven't got one. It's definitely something that has to be looked into. I heard Caruso tell him to call the tech, and, he ended up doing it. So that's one ref. In my 11 years, I haven't called a ref out by name, but James was terrible tonight, through and through. It's bad for the sport, bad for the integrity of the sport. People are going to start viewing this as a WWE, if they're not held responsible.
Yeah, so Devin Booker not very happy yesterday after Alex Caruso. And by the way, it's not gone well when you look at Phoenix. They're down 2-0 in this series. They're most certainly going to get swept. If Oklahoma City cares at all and even tries 50%, they can win the games on the road. It's the most uncompetitive series so far. They're losing by 35 points and 13 points in their first two games. They've committed 17 and 21 turnovers. They also can't stop SGA, who's, I think, going to win the MVP again back-to-back years. So it's been a very tough, I would say not even 2 games. I would say take the play-in because I didn't think he played well at all. I didn't think he was aggressive in the play-in game against Portland. And, yeah, they beat the Warriors to get the 8th seed.
He didn't have a good game in the Warrior game either.
Whoop-de-freaking-dee.
Jalen Green took over the play-in game.
Congratulations. You beat the Warriors, who are not good, just to get swept by the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Right.
You count the play-ins, the first 2 games of this, and I would actually go like maybe the last 4 weeks of the regular season. It's been a tough month for the old Phoenix Suns, and Devin Booker getting the technical foul, leading him to call out a ref by name in a postgame, I think just the cherry on top of the crap sandwich they're currently dealing with.
Right.
Just not good at all, man.
Yeah, I don't know. You were getting dealt a hard hand to begin with, honestly. I think that's what the Blazers were avoiding in the first place with the plan, is that we didn't want to be stuck with the Thunder and be in the situation where we'd probably be in the same situation if it was Portland.
And we haven't been happy with the refs in our games. And we've won one of them.
The refs is just a hit or miss, honestly. It just depends on which staff you get and what the situation is. But it's bizarre for a referee to look convinced from a player that, oh yeah, I should probably do this. You see it sometimes with coaches doing that, but to take the agreement of a player, at least what it looked like, was bizarre. It was strange.
I found that like the NBA is probably going to end up fining him now because he's called out the ref by name.
Oh yeah, and he won't be the only one.
To me, by the way, I think the free throws are dead even in the series,
which is weird.
So like,
which is crazy.
And weirdly in our series, the San Antonio Portland series, I think a lot of Blazer fans have hated the officiating in those games, but also the Spurs players seem to be complaining the loudest. Like they talked after game 2. Well, okay, if Scoot's allowed to be physical, we're going to start being physical with him. De'Aaron Fox, it'd be nice if we could get the calls they're getting. I believe the Spurs have shot more free throws than the Portland Trail Blazers.
I'm pretty sure that's right. Yeah.
So it's always odd how we all interpret officiating. On this specifically, I'm not always Mr. Defend a Phoenix Sun. Devin Booker is right, and this is a very bad look for the league. He's clearly just saving the ball. A foul is called, so they got that part right.
Right.
You can't have another player just come over and be like, hey, you threw that ball. My teammate, you need to give him a tech. Like, what?
Yeah.
First of all, Caruso being a little tattletale. Okay, we see that in the NBA. It's another for the official to respond and go, you're right. You're right. Yeah, here's a technical foul. So I think it's a bad look for the league. Devin Booker, I think, is right to call this out. He's not somebody that really has the reputation in the post game. Now, I know he likes to, choose his spots in the regular season games, playoff games, to actually bring stuff up with officials. What star doesn't? But it's another to go and name a guy by name in the post game, and that's what's led Devin Booker to this. That's just not something you see very often in the NBA. The other team telling the ref to call a technical, and the ref going, "You're right, I'm going to do that," and giving him the old T. So not a good look, I think, for the NBA last night. The Phoenix Suns are going to get swept. Nobody cares about that series. We don't need to dive into it. There is nothing to dive into anyway. One team is probably going to win the title again. The other team, barely a playoff team. But not a good look for the league, I think, last night, calling that technical foul.
No, but I think also in the Suns' position and Devin Booker, when you're dealing with a series where you're going to be outperformed for majority of the series and things are not going well, the natural reaction is to blame the refs. And in this case, I stand by what he said. And it's not like he's like trying to outcry, hey, fix this, or this shouldn't have happened, but when you're down 0-2 and you haven't looked good basically in your 4 playoff games up to this point, you're going to blame the refs as part of, oh, this is why we're not doing so well.
They have lost 8 straight playoff games with an average margin of defeat of 19 points. That's what Phoenix is currently on.
Yeah.
So it's
tough go.
It's been a little bit of a struggle bus for the Phoenix Suns. They're going to get swept. That's the series just. Man, I don't think anybody in Phoenix cares. If you're in Phoenix today, if we were doing a radio show in Phoenix this morning, I'd be all over the NFL draft. We have the 3rd pick in the draft. Mm-hmm. We might be taking Jeremiah Love. We might be trading back. Like, the Suns are not a topic. What is there to talk about? Hey, man, they fought harder than they did in game 1 when they lost by 30. They only lost by 13. Like, this is the story from the series. Devin Booker getting a technical foul when Oklahoma City asks the ref to blow one on him. Other than that, Phoenix is just completely irrelevant, and that series is terrible. We did have a tied series in the game before that. So we'll touch on that one a little bit. Detroit, are they in trouble? A takeaway maybe from that game after the first two in Detroit. We'll talk a little more NBA playoffs, and we'll get to the Dame Lillard tease at the top of the 7 o'clock hour. Dirt and Sprague, we're back with more 645 on Portland Sports Leader, 105.1 The Fan. Happy Thursday. Welcome back in. The fan text line's 503-864-6326. No Andy Dirte today. He is out. He's got the little bug. Teddy Ball Game's licking everything in his house and outside of it and then giving him the germs. He says he'll be back tomorrow. We'll have to wait and see on that one. We'll have to wait and see. I don't think the Brandons are convinced. I think if we were to open this thing up from a Vegas standpoint, it's a minus 110 that he's out, and it's a plus 100 that he's in. So it's a close margin, but I think the favorite here is that he is not going to be in tomorrow.
Like I said, going to take a lot of Dayquil and sleep to turn around and be back tomorrow after what we saw yesterday.
Yeah, it looked pretty awful when he left here. I was like, just get out. Can you not be near me? I just don't want what you had. Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll be all right. We got a lot to talk about.
Did you wipe down everything in there when you got in, just in case?
Here's the thing is he has his own station.
I hope
Danny and Sakanic did, because if they didn't, I'm worried they're going to catch what he has. Yeah. I'm like 8 feet away from him. I'm good. Like, we got enough space. I'm all right here.
Just that door handle as you walked in, though.
Oh, dude, get out of here. We got a Dame Lillard tease yesterday on the socials. We'll talk about that coming up at the top of the hour. Ryan Clark's going to join us at 7:30. Ducks got the number one quarterback in the 2027 class, Will Minsel. And we'll talk with Ryan Clark about that. And we got the spring football game this weekend. So Ryan Clark will hop on at 7:30. It's NFL Draft Day. Poll questions up. Your neighborhood restaurant group poll question of the day. What will you watch more of, NBA playoffs or the NFL draft? One of our listeners, Andrew, says, listen to Mel Kiper complain about teams going against his own opinions and 860th mock draft order, or watch actual athletes play a game. Easy choice. Yeah. But let's not act like we're not interested in that drama in the draft.
That's entertaining.
Last year was really funny. I'd forgotten how crazy Mel Kiper got about Shedeur Sanders.
Yes.
So what will we get this year? I don't know. Is it Ruben Bain falling?
Yeah, but Shedeur was a saga in itself. I don't think we're going to have that topped for a couple drafts.
That also, I think his slide wasn't just first round. It was like over the weekend. It was like the second round, and he was third round even, and Kiper was losing his mind. Yep. It was like, what's going on here? Like, all right, dude, calm down, eat some pumpkin pie. You'll be all right. We'll get to the Blazers coming up at the top of the hour. So the Pistons were tied with the Magic at 46 at the half. Reportedly, they had a player-only meeting. Like, instead of the coaches coming in and doing, like, any kind of adjustments, the players were just having, like, hey, you're not doing this, you're not doing that, like calling each other out. And it worked. They came out in the second half, and they opened the second half on a 30-3 run, and they pull away from the Magic. That game was basically over after that run. The final score is a little misleading. It wasn't a 15-point loss. It was like a 20-plus point loss, masked up with a 15-point loss. So now we go back to Orlando tied at 1. It's not a series I think is very sexy. Detroit's style of play is like, hey, Cade Cunningham, do good stuff. And then they just are like a bunch of scrappy guys who, they're not the greatest shooting team. Who is their second best playmaker? Right? Like, it's a very interesting team. It's the reason I don't think they get to these finals is the shortcomings you've seen in this series already. Meanwhile, on the other side, Orlando's been nothing but disappointing all year. Desmond Bane's been good, but now they need Paolo to play better than he did in the regular season, and they've got Franz, who's capable of being an absolute bucket getter. I didn't think they played particularly well. In fact, the best player in this series so far from a 2-game sample size has maybe been Jalen Suggs for Orlando. So they're going back to Orlando. It's not the most interesting matchup in the playoffs, but it's a 1-8, and it's tied at 1-1 going back to the 8 seeds arena. Do you think Detroit found themselves last night, or do you think that this series still think is going to be like a real back and forth, we're going to go past 5 game situation?
Yeah, I'm interested to see how the change of scenery affects Detroit, because when you're on a roll like that at home, you're going to beat pretty much everybody, especially when you've won 60-plus games. But I don't think I don't think Orlando has been overmatched as people expected.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is a trend in the East where, you've got these play-in teams coming out of the play-in and they're giving top seeds trouble. We've seen it with the Heat.
Yep.
Multiple times.
Philadelphia just beat Boston in Boston.
Philly is
That's
same,
a play-in team
Philly's
as well.
the same way. Both play-in teams are giving the top seeds tough, and that just shows how the Eastern Conference is so way more wide open than the West.
Yeah, are we poo-pooing? Maybe we're poo-pooing the bottom East versus top of the East a little too much. Like, I completely dismissed Philly and Boston. I still think Boston's going to win that series in relatively quick fashion. This one's interesting to me because that's a hell of a run, and maybe that's what awakens Detroit to play how they played in the regular season.
Right.
But if Paolo gets it going and Franz, doesn't have a miserable night from the field, we know Desmond Bane can give him 25. Jalen Suggs is playing really confident basketball. Like, all you need is those two dudes to wake up and have 23 and 27, and you're in a different series.
Right.
So, yesterday's run was crazy to see. 33 run is nuts.
Yeah.
But I still take away from the two games, I think Orlando should feel good. In fact, I think we come back to Detroit tied at 2-2. I think that's where this series is going to go. 6-game series, 7-game series, I don't know. But Orlando's got a shot here, man, and that's not just saying because they won game one. That was a close game. That first half was super uncomfortable. It was a low-scoring, ugly game, throwback to the 90s, and they were tied at halftime. So a 33 run's not something you can bank on. I think it's going to be a 2-2 series when they come back to Detroit. But I understand also Orlando and Detroit isn't the most exciting thing for a lot of people out here.
No, it was probably, I remember it being pretty low on your series rankings coming into the first round.
I would readjust that a little bit.
Just a touch.
Give me a close series and a 1-8. I'm like, oh, okay.
It's definitely a tighter series than expected going in.
No doubt.
And I agree that Orlando has playmakers and has stars that if they can get going in Orlando and get kind of a momentum in either game 3 or game 4,
they have more shot creators.
All you got to do is steal game 5 and you got a 7-game series.
Yeah.
So or just hold serve at home. And it's kind of that situation when you're the underdog. If you can just get the momentum when you have those home games in game 3 and 4. Portland, for example, coming in on Friday and Sunday. If you get that momentum, then you're making it you're putting the pressure right back on that top seed. And then it gets a little more spicy as you get to game 5 and game 6, which I can see that going with this series too.
Yeah. We have a loaded second hour to get to. Is Dame Lillard coming back for Portland in the playoffs? A little teaser yesterday. We'll kick off hour 2 on 105.1 The Fan with that.
No time.
Back in hour number 2. Durden Sprague here on 105.1 The Fan and the Fan Sports Network. That is 1080 AM, the Odyssey app, and the YouTubes. Good morning. Hope everybody is out there.
Fantastic.
Feeling fantastic. How's Jason Minnick's feeling now, huh?
How's Scoot working out for? No, I'm kidding.
Actually, no, you're kidding. We're tied. And he's good. At 31. Minnick's. Take that. A lot to get to in the second hour. One listener saying you shouldn't ever listen to Mel Kiper's thoughts on the NFL. I don't listen to Mel Kiper's thoughts. I don't follow anything Mel Kiper does. Anytime Mel Kiper is on my television to do a hit on the draft, or if he's ever featured on a podcast I may listen to, yeah, I'm out. I just want Mel Kiper to freak out. That's what I want. I want Mel Kiper screaming to me about a prospect he loves that the other NFL teams are like, thanks but no thanks. That's all I need. That's all I need from Mel Kiper Jr. A lot to get to in the second hour of the radio program. We will talk with Ryan Clark of OregonLive.com, covering the Oregon Ducks. They got quite the pickup yesterday, the number 1 quarterback in the class of 2027, and their spring games this weekend. We haven't talked to our buddy Ryan in a long time. So Ryan Clark's going to hop on at 7:30.
I wonder how much dirt is out because of he's sick or he's out celebrating that they got this pick. I don't know.
You might be onto something here.
That might be
the
part
number
of it.
1 quarterback in the class of 2027. They just barely missed out on. Remember, Dante Moore was the last big one, I think, for them, and then he just randomly went to UCLA, and now he's since the quarterback at Oregon. They got this one, and there's been tells for years that this kid was going to choose Oregon. We just didn't know about it, and I have audio proof, so we'll get to that coming up today. Surprising news out of the world of college football, and we will discuss the NFL draft. We also have some interesting matchups in the NBA tonight that I want to talk about. Before we get going, though, on the old social media tease, I want to remind you guys to join us June 23rd as Toyota presents the Fan Golf Classic out at Langdon Farms Golf Club. Foursomes are on sale now, the morning and the afternoon round. You got to hop on that at 1051thefan.com by just clicking on the Fan Golf Classic logo. It's where you can register your foursome. We'll be hanging out at the infamous Angels Envy Bourbon Par 3, the 6th hole, the volcano hole of Langdon Farms. You've got Isaac and Suk, Luke, Danny, and Patrick, and we'll be all hanging out there on June 23rd. After both rounds, of course, we'll be fed by our great friends out at Matt's Barbecue, which you look forward to that every year. The brisket is fantastic. Fan Golf Classic presented by Toyota, also brought to you by Vulcan Design and Construction, Henderson, Daughter Windows and Doors, George McCoy at Warren Allen Attorneys at Law, Battery Exchange, Maestro Dobel Tequila, your neighborhood restaurant group, Philbrook Law, 1-800-DIVORCE, Roto-Rooter, Illegal Mezcal, and Window Nation. Boom. 1051thefan.com. We had dirty little tease by the social media team of the Portland Trailblazers. Did you see it?
I saw it.
Now, I was 2 hours behind on seeing it, but I saw it.
Yep, I saw it.
And if you missed it because you have a life and you're not addicted to social media, first of all, good for you.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Don't
Get out of it.
that well.
It's awful for your mental health. But let me fill you in because I am on it. So the Blazers sent out this slow-mo video of Dame Lillard walking out of the tunnel in San Antonio with a basketball. He can get some shots up. He's in, some hoodie, and he's got the do-rag on, and he's just out there getting shots up. And all the Blazers put as the caption, wide-eyed emoji. Now, Brandon, what would that, you think, do to a fan base who's happy to have their beloved icon face a franchise guy back in the city after having to trade him away 2 years ago? What would that do to a fan base?
I think they're trying to get everybody off of Tom Dundon and start talking about something else. So they're gonna bring that video out. And
I
be
like that
hey,
theory.
Hey, remember this guy?
Hey,
this guy?
we still have
Don't
him.
think about the guy upstairs. Think about this guy that might play.
Dude, that's a great theory. I got to be honest with you. It's probably the most logical answer. I hadn't even considered it. I thought, here's my takeaway. I see it, and I'm like, oh, red meat. Okay. And then you jump in, and everybody's super excited, and I'm not here to crap on your excitement. Be excited about what you want to be excited about. My big takeaway is I thought initially, I don't think he's going to play. And he has his one of his guys like in his circle is a guy named Nate Jones. If you find him on Twitter, he gives stuff out there all the time on this, and he was basically telling people he's not playing. Now, maybe that's also like misleading, but I'm going to believe that he's not playing. I believe that they don't want to play him this year. I took it as, do we see him come out in the warm-up? Do we see him sitting on the bench in a uniform, in a warm-up situation, never playing, but just being there and having, like, dude, imagine this scene. It's 7:30. The Moda Center is hosting its first playoff game really since 2019 to a full capacity. This place is going to be buzzing. Victor Wembanyama is out. It's officially ruled out. The concussion's going to take him out, okay? Portland's coming out for the lineup. Mace is ready to say, here come. And the crowd that's buzzing off of adrenaline and booze is there. And who do they show running out in the back of that line?
Yep.
Damian Lillard.
Yep.
What is that building going to be when they run out just to do the layup line and he's out there? Now, again, I don't think he's going to play. No. I think at best that's what the situation is. He's out there in the warm-up. Wouldn't be shocked either if that's not what happened and you end up being right. That this is hey, look over here. Look at this situation.
Go to this distraction more than the other distraction.
Let's get off old Tommy Two Nickels here. Yeah. Let's stop talking about that, and let's just highlight the fact that Dame Lillard exists in a Portland uniform again. That is very likely, but I also could see my scenario happening because the Moda Center would be insane. It would be beyond loud.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of wondering if that's the angle they're going with, but to your point, it could just be a huge look over here. Let's stop talking about our owner being a cheapskate.
Yeah, so my other part-time job outside of being here is I am on the game ops staff for the Portland Trailblazers. So I have been at the Moda Center for every game this year. I have seen, I'm there 3 hours before tip. I've seen Dame putting up shots up.
He gets one,
He does some workout stuff. I've seen that multiple times this season. Nope, there's no idea that he's, not a thought in my mind of, he might play eventually this year. Not a thought in my mind. Even after the three-point cut. Not happening.
Which was a cool moment.
That's a great moment.
Yeah.
That's a great moment. I want that to be his signature moment of the year. I don't need him to come into this playoffs and, messing up the chemistry of what the team has going right now. I think he's been such a good mentor for these guys. He doesn't need to be on the floor. I think he kind of just – I think I like him as kind of that second mentor, that second set of eyes that can give those young guys the information and the advice that they need in the moment, especially with the playoffs and a lot of these guys not being in those moments. But no, I've seen Dame putting up shots in the stadiums enough to know it's not going to happen. You can drink the Kool-Aid all you want.
Let us drink Kool-Aid, Brandon. Why are you crapping on our Kool-Aid?
You can drink the Kool-Aid all you want. It's great to see that he's moving around. He's getting more reps in. He's getting right for next season, not this season. So it's great, but keep the Blazer goggles off.
Well, first of all, I don't know how long you've been here. Those goggles ain't coming off.
Oh, no.
Okay? Second of all, this listener is exactly just echoing what you're saying to a certain extent. They've been posting him shooting all season.
Yep.
This post is nothing new / different.
Yep.
I've seen the posts of him shooting. We know he warms up and he gets out there.
I think I was more concerned about, is he in San Antonio, as in this has happened 2 days ago, or are you pulling video from 2 months ago?
When they were in San Antonio.
Right.
He was just, that's actually right. We have a timestamp on it. Anybody see the T-shirts in the back? Are they on the chairs?
Right.
Look, largely probably much ado about nothing. To your point, why don't you look over here?
Yeah.
Like, that absolutely would make sense, right? We had Adam Silver have to come out and be like, I've seen no evidence of him being cheap. And it's like, here's 4 articles of sourcing saying he's super cheap. Dude, I was out at basketball practice yesterday. And to the point of, hey, it's playoff time. They just won game 2. People were asking, like, hey, man, how's it been going? I'm like, pretty good. Blazers in the playoffs. And it's almost universally morphed into that owner, though. That you can be out there and be super tired of the topic. I'm with you. I've told a lot of listeners that DM or reach out, yo, I don't like doing it. I've done like 4 shows on it.
Right.
I'm tired too. It's the topic, and it's crazy because they're tied 1-1 back home. Maybe a Wemby-less Spurs team is coming in here, and it just feels like the big topic for most people is Tommy Cheapskate.
Mm-hmm.
Tommy Two Nickels, El Cheapo, is a huge topic for people. So I try to escape it, and sometimes I can't because, dude, the story and reporting, and you guys all know where I sit. I don't need to go over that again.
Yeah.
It's almost in a weird way rocking the community, right? Like the Blazers being in the playoffs, it tends to feel like it's taking things over. We were talking to people yesterday, some of our coworkers yesterday, about the NFL draft. And the NFL draft is going to get like 8 to 11 million viewers tonight. It's going to rate the best. It's going to rate better than maybe any NBA game, the whole playoffs, including finals,
Yeah,
right?
sure.
That's not shocking. But what's interesting is when you have in this market not super passionate diehard Blazer fan, but big football fan, and it's like, yeah, I thought this was NFL draft week. No, it's Blazer playoff week, and Tommy Two Nickels is cheap week is what it's become. And so because of how super hyper-focused we are on the Blazers, it's not even so much about the playoffs, although I think our show, I can only speak for our show, we're trying to focus on the game stuff because some of the other Tommy Two Nickels stuff, there's nothing we can do about it. Like it's all just been sourcing and hearsay, and yeah, some things have been actually that have happened, but we're not to the off season yet. We don't know who the coach is going to be, so like there's still stuff to sort out before we give like more opinion on.
Right.
But I can't believe how much it's taken over the narrative of, yo, Tom Dundon is just an absolute cheap dirtbag versus the Blazers are tied coming back to Portland. It's been eye-opening to me as somebody that's had to talk about it. I'm never surprised that people care about the juicy gossip stuff. It's more just like when bringing up the Blazers organically of, hey, man, how about the playoffs, huh? It always has morphed into, at least the last few days, Tom Dundon, though. And I'm like, yeah, cheap.
Yeah.
I don't know what to add to the conversation anymore. It's like I talked about all of it, but people are still thinking about it. It's been a bit of a takeover for them. And that's the unfortunate thing that I would say that we can get to next is I understand the concerns, and there's some media members in the market that I've communicated with that are far more in the scared zone, not for themselves, but just the overall health of the organization. And I don't agree with all of the opinion out there, but the fact that this story is taken over the actual games is the part for me as somebody doing this that I'm not huge on. I understand that it's juicy, it's sexy, it certainly is of interest to everybody. But the Blazers are the 7th seed, and they're tied with a team 20 games better than them, and that team's best player, which is the best player in the series, might be out for Game 3 and maybe Game 4. We don't even know when he's coming back.
Yeah.
So I talk about that on the other side of allowing the disruption of Tom Dundon's cheapness to overtake the actual playoff games. We can get to that coming up next. Ryan Clark at the bottom of the hour. We roll on hour number 2, Dirt and Sprague, on 105.1 The Fan. The fan text line's 503-864-6326. That's where you can text in. Neil. Hope you're enjoying the playoffs, buddy. The Crown Zone, putting a roster together that might be able to pull off the upset against the 2-seeded San Antonio Spurs. Game 3 tomorrow. We have a lot to discuss with the game itself. May get a guest or two on to discuss it. Somebody says, sports radio, don't be a party pooper. He could play. Damian Lillard could play. To which I said, I don't want to be a party pooper. But his guy is on social media being a party pooper like he ain't
pooping
playing.
on any party. If anything, I am praising the social media guy who put that post together, knowing what he was trying to do, and he succeeded.
Well, you want to talk about a distraction from, hey, don't look over here at Tommy Two Nickels. I'll just reiterate, if you can do the three-point contest and win it, you can suit up, sit at the end of the bench knowing you're not playing a second, but come out there and get the Moda Center absolutely into a frenzy. I mean, you're going to be there for the game. Yeah. I can't imagine what you're going to tell us in terms of if he is seen in a warm-up going through the lamp line, even though I don't think he's going to play.
No.
That building is going to be insane.
If that is the other plan that the Blazers had outside of T-shirts, then congratulations, you're going to cause a storm in that Moda Center on Friday.
So I saw the Portland Gear. Remember that? That's the local company. They said they were going to make shirts for fans because we're not getting T-shirts. We don't know what we're getting, by the way, but we're not getting T-shirts. I saw them post a video yesterday, and look, the shirt's not awful. What is it? I think it said Rip City Rising is what it had in like font, and obviously you're not going to have a logo on there, but then I saw, and I understand that time, you're pressed, it's not easy in any way. This is not a criticism, but I saw that they're only making 200 of them. Like, and people, I think at 10 a.m. is when they open. So right as we sign off the show, they open their doors, and if you have a ticket, they'll give you a shirt. And you only get one, like if you have 2 tickets, but you're only one person there, you only get 1 shirt.
Right. You
can't get 2 shirts for 2 tickets. And I just thought, what if the people getting those shirts all are sitting in different sections? 200 in a 19-plus thousand seat arena. I'm going to see like one guy.
Oh, man.
Not that it's a bad – I'm not trying to knock it. It's not an awful shirt. And I know that time is tough to turn and burn that many shirts. I just saw it was 200, and I'm like, well, if they're all in a different area, it's like,
yeah.
I can really tell that's some unique shirt, you know?
Where's the shirt? Where's Waldo type of situation.
It's going to be more of that situation. So I appreciate the effort by a local company to try to hop on and do something. But the 200 number, I was like, well, hopefully not all in the 300, the 200, the 100, and all opposite ends of the Moda Center.
Right.
I'm looking forward to tomorrow. I'm already excited about it. And, you know, for me, because my cousin texted and was like super exhausted by the topic. Dude, imagine how I feel. Right? Like, I'll read the pieces when they come out about him, but we had the Ramona Shelburne piece. We didn't really get into that because it's just a retread version of the Tiago Splitter conversation.
Right.
And all my point is, because I think one listener's right, like, we're in a weird spot where it's exciting, it's fun. This team just won a road playoff game at a place they've never in the history of their organization won. You realize what that team has done in our lifetimes? They've won 5 championships. They've won the lottery every time they've needed to win the lottery. They got David Robinson. And then, I'm hurt. To give themselves more ping pong balls, they kind of started doing the tanking thing. Who'd they get out of it? Well, they won it, and they got Timmy Duncan. Then they add Ginobili and Parker. And, now we suck again. What are we going to do? Well, DeMar DeRozan's only taking us to the play-in. What are we going to do? You know what? Let's tank. And then they tank again. Who do they get? They get the freak French alien. Like, they've been lucky every time. And they got 5 titles. We're jealous of the success that organization has. And here we are. That dude bangs his head on the ground. It's scary. It's terrifying. And we win game 2. And we're in the spot. Like, we're coming back. It's the first real home full playoff game in a long time for us. And I don't blame anybody for caring, but this listener is saying, like, we're kind of alienating this dude. Like, I don't think it's kind of. I think it's absolutely. And now we're in the middle of the state has approved funds, But now you got these city council members that are now coming out and they're like, I don't know if the county's going to be giving you this money, buddy. And so now we're in a financial fight of, are we going to use tax dollars to fund the renovation to the Moda Center? Is the lease only going to be 20 years? Or are we going to say, look, we're giving you X amount of hundreds of millions of dollars. You're going to sign a 30-year lease. Like, there's a negotiation that needs to happen there, and that process is ugly. But with all of that, plus the stories, plus the media members that are writing all the articles and loudly telling you how much of a dumpster this is within, the first month or two, it's noisy. And to your point, the Dame stuff is very well just a distraction of, hey, look over here. Remember Damian Lillard? He makes you happy. Calm down. Yeah. Shield Tiles on social media, making you can't put this on puns to T-shirt references, and people are just like, shut up, nerd. It's a weird time, man. I'm excited that they're in the playoffs. We've had the tank, no tank conversation. You know where all our opinions are at on that stuff. Mm-hmm. But we're here now, right? I knew they weren't going to tank out and try to get that pick. I knew they were going to make it. I didn't like the play-in competition. The pick conveyed. They're done. They're in the playoffs. They're a 7 seed. They've tied the series against a damn good basketball team who may now be without their star. So it's just a really odd time that you'd think when the moment they'd get back to this spot. Think of all the tanking years we've gone through. And all it'd be about is the ball. We could raise some antennas up, the alarms about old Tommy Two Nickels.
Sure.
But it's grabbed all of it, and it's just overcome the conversation about the playoff. And you could very well say, well, you control that. No doubt. I'm observing how much in my life, outside of doing the radio show, it's taken over. Because we joked about it a little bit yesterday with the jokes on social media and whatnot. We didn't really talk about it. Right. We talked all about the game 2.
Yeah.
And tomorrow's going to be a lot of game 3.
As it should be.
As
and
it
game
should
4, because we're not going to be here till Monday.
You know what? That's a weird situation we're going to be in tomorrow. So you're right. And I don't blame people for the gossip. There's a lot of gossip that happens in society. There's a reason reality television it rates so well. But it's just a fascinating look, I think, from an observation standpoint of being in a good series, tight, Scoot's playing well, Denny's, raised the bar of his play, and it's Tommy Two Nickels almost daily for a lot of media outlets. So we'll get to the game tomorrow and talk about it, but the Blazers send out a tease of old Damian Lillard shooting jump shots in San Antonio. Let's pivot out from the Blazers and the Tommy Two Nickels. Let's go to Eugene. Some massive news down in Eugene yesterday, and they have a spring game this weekend. Ryan Clark will join the radio program next on 105.1 The Fan.
Now, from the George McCoy and Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on The Fan, draft day is finally here. The 2026 NFL Draft begins tonight with the first round live from Pittsburgh. Oregon tight end Kenyon Sadiq and safety Dylan Thieneman, both expected to be drafted around the top 20 tonight. You can listen to the draft on 910 ESPN Portland starting at 4 o'clock. Patriots head coach Mike Vrabel said yesterday he won't be with the team for the third day of the draft on Saturday. He said he is seeking counseling starting this weekend and plans to be with his family outside of Massachusetts. Last night in the NBA playoffs, both top seeds were flexing in the first round. The Pistons avenged their Game 1 loss at home to the Magic with a 98-83 win in Game 2 to tie the series 1-1. The game was tied at halftime before Detroit unleashed a 30-3 run to start the second half and cruised to victory. Cade Cunningham with a double-double, 27 points, 11 assists. The Thunder, meanwhile, took care of the Suns at home in Game 2, a 120-107 for a 2-0 series lead. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, MVP-like performance, 37 points and 9 assists. His running mate, Jalen Williams, left the game in the third quarter with an apparent hamstring injury, something to keep an eye on as they head to Phoenix. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Brandon Henson from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work? Insurance companies acting like jerks? Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
Your home for Seahawks football.
that being said, for the next 3 to 4 years, I will be committing to the University of Oregon.
That is the commitment yesterday. I know it's hard to hear. Very quiet talker, that new quarterback commit Will Menzel is. But you heard the crowd reaction there. Yesterday evening, Will Menzel, the 27 number one quarterback in the class, committed to the University of Oregon. Down to just a couple schools. And we probably should have seen it coming given some video that emerged from Will Menzel being a lot younger at an NFL draft, and we'll get to that coming up. But joining us now to discuss that, some of the players going into the draft tonight, expected to hear their name, and we got a spring game, is our great friend Ryan Clark. OregonLive.com is where you can find all his great work, including talking about the Ducks landing the nation's top quarterback in a major recruiting win. Good morning, Ryan. How are we doing?
Doing well, just got a new tattoo yesterday, so I'm vibing.
Oh, what's the tattoo?
We got a morel mushroom on the right arm, so adding to the many random tattoos that have very little to do with one another on that right arm. So yeah.
Now, why the right arm? Just out of curiosity, somebody who has tattoos only on his left arm. Why the right arm?
Well, some NBA players will just get the tats strictly for buckets on the arm they don't shoot with. That's not the case for me. I am right-handed, and I don't get buckets, so I don't have to worry about that. But it's just filling out a sleeve at this point, and eventually, maybe I will get to the left arm.
Dude, same here, and eventually you and I will both buy more flannel than we'll know what to deal with, and we'll be settling at a coffee shop and be the most Portland people of all time. To your point as well, like when people ask, why one arm, not the other? I literally always say, well, this is the shooting hand. I can't touch the shooting arm. I'm not putting it on the right, so we go with the left. All right, well, you're dealing with some tattoo pain, day 2, but you were able to type out the story of 5-star dual-threat quarterback Will Menzel. Pretty big one. I circled this one last week, and then we caught wind of when and what time he was going to make the announcement. I saw it. Now, look, he's a high school kid that's going to college. Not all of them are going to be super loud and over the top with it. There with his family, his classmates and whatnot, announcing that he's choosing Oregon, the number one quarterback in the country, according to On3 Rivals, and number 6 by 24/7 Sports, which is a very odd separation there. But what do we make of Will Menzel choosing Oregon over Penn State and Auburn? He's 6'3", 200 pounds.
Yeah, I think that there's a narrative that exists that Oregon, and rightfully so, given what they've done in the last few years, is just plumbing the transfer portal for their quarterbacks. And a guy like Will Menzel might go to Oregon, but will he stay there? Will he be a future starter? I think that all signs in this recruiting process for him point to him being a serious part of the future for Oregon. After the Dylan Raiola era is over. There's a lot of things that have to happen between now and then. He has to live up to that billing, but this is a guy that plays for a powerhouse school in Chandler High School down in Arizona. Being an Arizona State guy, some of my early opportunities as a sports journalist were covering high school football games, and that is a serious program that has developed NFL talent out of Chandler. And you watch his highlights. This guy is a prototypical Oregon quarterback. He makes quick decisions, and not just in, what ice cream flavor he likes, vanilla or chocolate, but on the field, he makes really quick decisions. He has nice touch. He's got the build. He's got a thick neck. He's a guy that absolutely can play the quarterback position at a high level. Really by his highlights, the interviews I've seen with him, and he seems to fit the bill of a guy that, yes, in a couple of years, let's say Raiola is the starter for a year or two, this could be the next guy after Raiola.
Yeah, it's interesting because they land him, and there was a lot of intel that he might be leaning Oregon. I know everybody does that crystal ball stuff, and then we end up getting a video, coincidentally, from 2019 NFL Draft where they have somebody that'll say your name and your school, your dream school, or where you're going to college, and then they'll announce you as the number one pick. He, as a kid, chose Oregon, and I hadn't seen this until after the commitment. Had we seen this, I think it would have been a real easy tell, but a lot of people were trending towards Oregon. You add in the note here on the article about him. He's the 9th player for the 2027 recruiting class, and I find this a very interesting thing because when we talk about recruiting for major college programs, you always hear Florida, Texas, California, right? Those are the three kind of juggernauts. And then you've got obvious other states with big talent. So they've got an edge rusher that's a 4-star, Rashad Streets, North Carolina. They've got Cameron Pritchett, edge rusher, Alabama. Defensive lineman Zane Rowe, Texas. 4-star cornerback Aking Hall from Alabama. Josiah Molden right in our backyard in West Lynn. He's a legacy. A 4-star running back in Kadarius McMiller from Texas, and a 3-star offensive lineman, Avery Michael from California, and a kid from Utah, and now a kid from Arizona. Just what the recruiting profile, it's no longer like just set in stone certain pockets. I think for a program like Oregon, you just look all over the map at this point now for Dan Lanning and his staff.
Yeah, their national recruiting footprint is massive at this point, and there's also the narrative out there of, it's the NIL, they're just coming in with a bag of money and they can go in wherever and get anybody. That's not true. It's about the winning that they've had the last few years. It's about it's cliche, but it's the culture that Lanning has established and the opportunity for young guys to play early. You look at, a guy like DeCorian Moore coming in as a freshman and being a difference maker, and guys at other positions who have been freshmen, who have been redshirt freshmen, sophomores, getting in and being able to play alongside elite players and play in big games. That matters. And, the NIL thing is certainly a component, and that's why Oregon and other, national championship contenders are consistently in the mix for these guys. But Dan Lanning has built out his staff in such a way that their national recruiting footprint is on par with anybody in the country, and they're consistently having top 5 recruiting classes because of it.
Mm-hmm. Ryan Clark, our guest here, OregonLive.com. The Ducks land the number 1 quarterback in the class of 2027 in Will Minsell. Now, your coworker, I thought, brought up and made an interesting article, which is kind of where my mind goes. I think a lot of people's goes in this modern world of NIL, transfer portal, college football. Will he even be a quarterback for Oregon? Like 27's, far out from now, and I know it'll fly right by and he'll be in Eugene before we know it. But you mentioned Raiola right there. Is, when you get these 5-star guys, they're all kind of trend towards you got to play them right away and they got to play as true freshmen, and very rarely do they even succeed. Is he sitting a year? Like, what do we know about Will Minsell, and will he be willing to sit if they go the veteran route for one season? Or is this a situation you think Lanning kind of turns it over and says, I'll take my lumps. I find it hard to believe personally, but I'll take my lumps and play a true freshman because he's the 5-star number 1 quarterback. Like how they handle, I think, that given all the sample sizes of other programs getting the 5-star quarterbacks.
Yeah, I think this kid would have committed to Oregon if he didn't know that, the opportunity is there for him to compete down the line. I don't think that he's a guy that committed with the idea like, hey, I'm a true freshman. I'm going to start here and I need these sort of guarantees or the opportunity even, because for all intents and purposes, Dylan Raiola is the next starter for Oregon after Dante Moore leaves. It's sort of been that succession plan that's been laid out. Now, if Dylan Raiola gets beat out by true freshman Will Minsell, then that's more on Dylan Raiola than it is on the fact that Oregon recruited a 5-star quarterback who was able to beat him out in the first place. I think that Raiola will probably be the guy for a year, and that opportunity could parlay into him making a jump to the NFL, but he has another year of eligibility after that. So there will be a question of how long a guy like Minsell might have to wait. I think that in a program like Oregon with the track record of developing guys into NFL quarterbacks, he could be one of those guys that sees the vision and sticks around for a couple of years to develop if he needs to. Now, being a 5-star guy, being number 1 quarterback in the country comes with a lot of expectation and a lot of, how good is he really type of talk that'll happen when he gets there. But I think that for a young guy like that, the opportunity to be there to compete and, potentially be the guy in 2 years is certainly laid out for him.
What's the excuse me? What's the best spot you think for Kenyon Sadiq? I know Thieneman and Pregnon are going to be in this first round potentially. Thieneman's in attendance. I don't know if Pregnon is. I hadn't seen that, but I know Thieneman is in Pittsburgh for the draft. What is the best landing spot you think for Kenyon Sadiq?
I like the idea of Baltimore for him, being a hyper-athletic tight end that, could fit well into what they do offensively, playing with Lamar. I had seen that floated as a potential destination, and that would be really fun. Being a guy that, went to a lot of Arizona Cardinals games when I was at Arizona State, not a Cardinals fan, grew up a more of a Seahawks guy, so I don't get that twisted. But that would be cool. And then obviously seeing him on the Seahawks would obviously be a great addition for a team that already has some pass-catching weapons, but to add a guy of that athletic caliber late in the first round, if they can get him or might need to trade up for him or however it might work for Seattle, would be fun to see as well. But Kenyon is the real deal, and I think that, for all the questions that might be out there about him and where he's going to land, he fits the full athletic bill, and if he can get into the right situation, he could be a stud.
We got a spring game this weekend. What is some of your favorite storylines or things to be watching for down in Eugene this weekend?
Yeah, there's a lot of things to be excited about for Oregon on both sides of the ball. They obviously return all four starters along the defensive line, which is insane. Those guys, Mateo Uiagalelei, the Tatum Tuioti, and the guys inside, Bear Alexander, and Amari Washington. Those guys are going to be fun to watch, and the guys across from them are going to be something I'm going to have a keen eye on as well. In the Oregon offensive line, which, who is going to be starting around Poncho this year with 3 starters headed off to the NFL? That's probably the biggest question facing this Oregon team, because they are stacked full of playmakers at the wide receiver position. They got Dante Moore back. They've got the 2 young running backs who are trying to be the best since, LaMichael and D'Anthony or, any of the other running back duos in the history of Oregon. But what does that offensive line look like? And can they consistently protect Dante? You're not really going to see that full bore in a spring game. That obviously is going to be much clearer come Boise State time in September. But the defensive side of the ball, that young secondary has a ton of talent. Where do guys play? Where do they fit all the pieces, and how do they get everybody on the field is something I'm curious about. So a lot of fun, positive storylines, but certainly, we in the media love to focus on the negative. That offensive line is something I'm definitely going to be looking at.
What was the mushroom you said you just had tatted on your arm?
Morel mushroom, yes, the wild mushroom found Pacific Northwest, Midwest, meaty, nutty, just a fantastic and unfortunately expensive mushroom.
I think you've given us a lot of drops just with that response right now. Yeah, I'm seeing it right now. It looks almost like a bit of like a bee honeycomb in a certain way, like it's something you would see in the inside of a bee thing with a little stem on the bottom. Was there any significance about that mushroom in your life?
Yeah, I mean, my wife, her family hails from the great Midwest, from Iowa. Her father grew up, foraging morel mushrooms, but they also are native to the Pacific Northwest. They're popping up right now. This is the season right now for them, and you can really only get them from like late March into June. They come after the spring rains, and they are truly. If you've never had them, if you've never tried a morel mushroom, they're at little farmers markets and everywhere else. The seasonality, the connection to nature, that sort of thing was definitely the inspiration for the tat.
Are you more likely to get a hand tat or a neck tat?
Oh, man. Definitely hand, for sure. If I'm going to go that route. I don't think I will do either. I think I'm going to fill out the forearm and the upper arm and call it good. Don't think I'm going to be a chest tat guy or a tramp stamp guy anytime soon, but certainly, in the arm areas and possibly onto the shoulders. But we'll see how it plays out over these next few years.
You don't want to be the white guy with an Islander tattoo?
No, I don't think I'm gonna pull that.
It's a good call. That's a good call.
I will not be culturally appropriating onto the tattoo verse for sure.
Are you a tipper of tattoos? Because I do, but I'm telling you, like, I appreciate a good tattoo artist. You're trusting them with a lot. I'm also like, can we just like give a? I feel really odd. Not that they don't deserve a tip. It just is a very odd. Like, do I tip 15%? Do I do 20? Do I go above 20? Are they going to judge me if I go below 20? What is your tipping etiquette for tattoos? Last one for you.
Yeah, I will tip for sure. The way it worked out this time, I think, is a situation I like better, where I put down the deposit and then I put down the other half of it, and the tip was 20% of the other half. It wasn't 20% of the entire cost of the tattoo, and I'm in line with that idea, especially with a smaller tattoo like this. Hard to tip a lot on a big one. For
All
sure.
right. Well, good stuff. Ryan Clark, he's doing great work covering the Oregon Duck program. They land the #1 quarterback in 2027. Catch him on the mean streets of Eugene this weekend, or with all the tattoos, maybe on a Harley soon, coming to a freeway near you. Ryan Clark on Twitter, at Ryan T. Clark. Always a good friend of the program. Thanks for hopping on this morning. We always appreciate the insights. And, have fun this weekend.
Absolutely. Feel better, Dirt, if you're listening.
Yeah, there we go. Ryan Clark, our good friend, near OregonLive.com. He's got a lot of good work up at OregonLive.com on your Oregon Ducks. All right, way against it. Back with one little note on this on 105.1 The Fan.
It's time for Who's Stinking.
All right, we loaded second hour, or third hour, I should say. We're already basically against it. So this is a super Diet Johnson here. Pour one out for Dirt. He's dealing with it on the couch today. Oh, Andy. Oh, Andy Johnson. Get better.
He's still asleep.
No chance he's asleep. Is he laying down, blowing his nose, feeling like crap? Yeah.
That's right. I forget he has a 2-year-old, so
Yeah.
he's not asleep right now.
I mean, unless he arranged daycare. By the way, update. Swag has text. He'll be back tomorrow.
Attaboy.
This is the end of your run. No more
That's
Brandon
okay.
and Brandon.
Hey, one and done is better than none.
You know, we've been blessed on the radio with Mike and Mike. We thought we had a Brandon and Brandon going there for a while, and it's over.
Well, if Dirt keeps this up, then we might have another opportunity in the future.
Yeah, somebody asking or saying they were surprised I'd never had a morel mushroom. I'm not really a mushroom guy.
Never been a mushroom guy.
The only time I eat mushroom is on pizza.
Yeah, I was talking.
But it's got to be baked like hell.
I was talking with Jake
into the
about
cheese.
this yesterday. Like, I'm okay with mushrooms or olives on my pizza if it gets swallowed up by all the other flavors that I can't taste.
You give me a Supreme, I'm in.
Right.
That's the only time I dabble in
But
mushroom.
I can't, like, it. I cannot. It has to be buried so that I can't taste it and I can't feel it as I'm eating it.
I'm not
Otherwise, there's a
satanic
problem.
over here just taking chocolate teddy bears, little chocolate bear gummies that are basically mushroom. I'm not over here doing that. I'm not Patrick. Not popping mushrooms going to concerts here. The only time I'll dabble in mushroom is on a pizza. I'm not anti-mushroom. I actually don't like the taste that much. My wife loves them, but yeah. And I don't really know the names of the types of the mushrooms and whatnot. But, that was a unique start by Ryan there. He's never really started an interview like that. Normally it's like, good morning. And it was just like, I got tatted.
It's a hell of a morning.
All right, you're going for the sleeve. God bless you, man. We have a loaded third hour. I did not get to my note there because I went way too long with Ryan, so I apologize. Let's get to it in the third hour. The Ducks get the number one quarterback. We should have seen it coming. And also, when you get a player like this, is there a lot of stock that this is going to be different than all the others? We can discuss that. We had some surprising news in college football that we'll get to, and it's NFL Draft Day. So we'll talk about that as well. Loaded third hour, Dirt and Sprague, 105.1, The Fan.
1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on the Fan, draft day is finally here. The 2026 NFL Draft begins tonight with the first round live from Pittsburgh. Oregon tight end Kenyon Sadiq and safety Dylan Thieneman both expected to be drafted around in the top 20. You can listen to the draft on 910 ESPN Portland starting at 4 o'clock. Patriots head coach Mike Vrabel said yesterday he won't be with the team for the third day of the draft on Saturday. He said he is seeking counseling starting this weekend and plans to be with his family outside of Massachusetts. Last night in the NBA playoffs, both top seeds were flexing in the first round. The Pistons avenged their Game 1 loss at home to the Magic with a 98-83 win in Game 2. That series is now tied 1-1. The game was tied at halftime before Detroit unleashed a 30-3 run to start the second half and cruised to victory. Cade Cunningham with a double-double, 27 points, 11 assists. The Thunder, meanwhile, took care of the Suns at home in Game 2, 120-107 for a 2-0 series lead. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander with an MVP-like performance, 37 points and 9 assists. His running mate Jalen Williams left the game in the third quarter with an apparent hamstring injury, something to keep an eye on as they head to Phoenix. Alabama and football head coach Kalen DeBoer agreed to a new 7-year contract yesterday that will pay him $12.5 million per season. The deal includes a $10 million buyout through the end of January 2027 and decreases by $2 million after each of the next 2 years. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Brandon Henson from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work. Insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The home of prime time with Isaac and...
Back in the third hour of the radio program. Dirt and Sprague here on 105.1 The Fan and the Fan Sports Network. Good morning. We're on YouTube, the Odyssey app, 105.1 FM, 1080 AM. There is no dirt. I know. I'm sad too. Old Andy Dierte is out today. Claims he'll be back tomorrow. Swag claims he'll be back tomorrow. We'll see. We'll see about all this claiming going on.
Could have the gang all back together tomorrow.
We could, or it could be the Brandon show again.
Hey man, I just need Swag to be here tomorrow because, as I said earlier, that and as I said earlier, I got a Blazer game to be at tomorrow night.
This shift of the Blazer game is going to be tough.
Hell of a day tomorrow if I am doing this show and covering the game in the same day. That's a 20-hour day, basically. That's a lot.
Yeah, I was from the get. I'm like, the Sunday game for me at home seems more in my wheelhouse. If I was to go to the game tomorrow night, do the show, and not really take a nap, it'd be utterly insane to say I was up at 3:50 a.m., look at the clock when that game is over at basically 11, and go, oh, I'll be in bed by midnight. Right. How about a 21-hour day here? But yeah, I hear your point. But yeah, the gang should be back together in full tomorrow. We got the NFL draft to still discuss. We had some surprising college football news, at least not shocking, but I was like, oh, and I took it one way and then read about it and was like, okay, I don't know how that's going to resonate with people, but we'll get to that. We mentioned we had Ryan Clark on, a little quick preview of the Oregon spring game. And we'll talk a little bit more about that tomorrow when Dirt is back. And then obviously we got the NFL draft, so we have some local interest with 3 Ducks potentially drafted tonight, Pregnon, Thieneman, and Kenyon Sadiq. But we'll talk a little bit about the Will Minsel commitment. So he chooses Oregon. He's the 5-star number 1 prospect in the 27 class. And I know that feels a little far away. But it's still really big news locally for Dan Lanning to land that, right? He's in the battle with Penn State, Auburn, USC, and Lincoln Riley are out here trolling Oregon on social media. Oh, a couple days later, here we go. Will Minsel, the number 1 quarterback, chooses Oregon. We probably should have been more up to date on Will Minsel choosing the Ducks based on this video from the 2019 NFL draft that he and his family made.
With the first overall pick of the 2019 NFL draft, The Dallas Cowboys select a quarterback out of the University of Oregon, Will Menzel. Menzel, you have just penciled.
And that's like a 10, 11-year-old Will Menzel at the 2019 draft, and there's they have the NFL events, and there's a guy, and you can give him the name, the college you want to go to or are at, and then you can pick your team, and they'll say, the first pick. So interesting. So he chose Oregon at like 11. He's from Chandler, Arizona, which is a hotbed for talent. So he's always wanted to be a Duck. And then also, you caught the NFL team that he chose to be on the clock there because the Cowboys didn't have the number 1 pick in 2019. Dallas Cowboys.
They might need him in a few years.
They might need to draft a Will Menzel in 2028, 2029. You have no idea how it's all going to work out with Dak. So I'm more just kind of curious if fans get hyped for this. And you should. This is a huge deal, man. It's the number 1 quarterback in his class. But also like the amount of stock you put into the 5-star number 1 quarterback thing just because of the recency of it all, right? Like Duck fan knows going through the Dante Moore battle and like, hey, we're going to get Dante Moore. This is going to happen. And then the 11th hour, I'm going to UCLA. What? He goes to UCLA, doesn't go well. Where does he transfer? He comes back to Oregon, basically says UCLA was a disaster. Always felt like he probably should have gone to Oregon, but he went to UCLA. He got the bag. Can't blame him. But you look around the landscape of college football, DJ Lagway, see you later, right? Like you look around, Dylan Raiola was this. He's now a backup at Oregon. It's not that 5-star guys, you shouldn't get them. You shouldn't want them. We've talked a little bit about that before. But what I find really interesting is just how it's all going to work itself out, and it will work itself out. But there's a school in the Big Ten that I find fascinating that's in this right now. They're dealing with it. So Michigan fires Sharon Moore. He has the off-the-field issue with the staffer. He gets probation. He's done, right? Michigan is in now. They've gone through the cheating scandal, and now they got the Sharon Moore thing. Now, they got a title in that, to be fair to them. They've had a lot of success, but they go through multiple issues, right? Off-the-field issues, including losing their head coach. And you're like, well, they need a culture change. They go and get Kyle Whittingham, right? That shocks the world. Kyle Whittingham's leaving Utah. Oh, he's going to handle it to Scally. Okay, here we go. No, he's not done coaching. Michigan wants him in for cultural reasons, too. It's not just coaching. They want him to set good culture within the program. Well, they have Bryce Underwood. And Underwood was the 5-star stud can't-miss guy, the guy that everybody identified and said, that's the next big quarterback. And he still very well could be, except, and something we haven't gotten to yet, is Michigan has spring game last weekend. And I didn't really watch it. I more kind of read about it because what do we get from spring games, right? We don't get anything. Not a lot. And it's interesting reading, he didn't really play particularly well. And Lloyd Carr's grandson, so C.J. Carr is the quarterback at Notre Dame. He's got another grandson who's the brother of C.J. Carr. He's at Michigan. He's carrying legacy in the name. He played way more than Underwood, but his numbers were really impressive, and people were noting how locked in he looked, how in command he looked. And Bryce Underwood's coming in, new coach, new regime, looking a lot of the same, missing targets, not commanding things. And Whittingham, to his credit, after the game, basically was like, Bryce Underwood's our starter. Going forward today, he kind of deaded any rumor mill stuff. But also there's a lot of buzz that if Bryce Underwood struggles and Michigan's not out the gate winning, and it's like, hey, they're, let's assume their non-conference isn't incredibly difficult. Let's say they're like 4-4. There's some people that think he's going to pull Underwood if Carr really is as impressive in camp as he looked in the spring game. And there's going to be another 5-star quarterback to look at, the number 1 quarterback. We got him. You got him. And it's just really hard, I think, to balance the 5-star kid that comes in, gets the big bag, and has this expectation of playing. And Dan Lanning's kind of recipe is evidence of guys who sit, and then also multiple years of a starter. So I wonder with Will Menzel, and if this has been out there, correct the record, I just wonder how much he's willing to come in here saying, yeah, I'm probably not going to play year 1. I'll redshirt, and I'll learn, and I'll grow, and I'll watch, and I'll develop, and Then you go from there, and it's down the road a little bit, but it's right around the corner at the same time. So they land the number one quarterback, but it's really interesting watching college football and the way that five-star can't miss, quote-unquote, number one type quarterbacks end up operating at their first stops versus the history of this kind of suggests there's a transfer in order, potentially down the road.
Yeah, I think the impact for getting five-star guys or top recruit, like the top guy, getting them as a quarterback in college football, it's not as immediate of an impact as, say, college basketball and getting a number one guy.
Yes.
So
it's not a Cam Boozer thing.
Exactly. Or an AJ DeBonza.
Yes.
As a BYU alum talking about that and experiencing that, because we don't get the top guys out of high school ever. So that was an immediate experience because they are the star of that one year, and then it's gone. It's like a comet. Like they're in, they have a amazing year, and they're going number one the next year. For a quarterback in the college football, the traditional way is like you said. They come in, they redshirt the first year, they soak in all the experience and all the advice from the older guys, from the starting guys, and then they wait for their turn. Nowadays, we have these guys kind of like Bryce Underwood. They're coming in and almost, if not year one, year two, they are the guy. And all that pressure and all that money kind of weighs in on them right away in that instant. And they either, thrive on it or they crumble. And so it's just a mixed bag of, all right, well, what is Menzel going to be? Is he going to be locked in and ready to go when it's his time? Or is he going to kind of fade in the pressure, and then you're looking around like, oh, well, now we're in trouble because we thought this guy was going to be the guy, and then he doesn't end up being. So it's, time will tell, and that's kind of hard to be excited for, is when you get a pickup like this. It's great for recruiting, great for the school.
It's great to have the number one quarterback. He's 6'3", he's 200 pounds, he's a dual threat.
Right.
It's almost like it's more fun to say, hey, we got him because you won the recruiting battle.
Yeah.
Than it is you fully putting the stock in and saying, well, that's the quarterback of the future.
Right.
I don't know, man. History's not amazing with that. We also don't know what he's going to be in college versus the high school.
Yep.
You hope for the best.
Yeah.
But it's really a crapshoot, and I would think it's far more yesterday. Hey, look what Dan Lanning's still doing, man. He's still kicking ass on the recruiting trail. He's got recruits from all over the country. He's not just in pockets of Southern California and, hey, some Seattle kids. It's like it's Carolina and it's Alabama and it's Texas, it's California, it's Arizona. Like, he's spread out all throughout the country. He landed the number one quarterback. Like, yesterday, to me, was probably, I would guess, more about just winning that battle, because it's just an off-the-field, off-season battle, than it is like, this is the next him.
Right.
It's too tough to tell, I think, in the world of college football with those guys.
Yeah, like you said, I think it's a win for the program, it's a win for the coach, it's a win for that staff, and it's a win for the fan base because now you feel a little bit more secure about, okay, well, after Dante, what's the future going to look like as far as this position and the team going
You assume
forward.
It's Raiola.
Right.
And then he comes in and he backs him up, or
yeah,
he redshirts.
exactly. It feels like the regimes are in place. Like, you have Dante this year, you got Raiola the next year, and now you have Menzel behind him.
Yep.
So you don't have that insecurity of coming into a spring game and say 2027, 28, and you're looking at, oh, wait, do we have a quarterback controversy here? Are we sure about this one? We were 2 years ago. How do we feel about now? Kind of being in that limbo type of state.
I've always given Lanning credit, too, for the not hesitate and identify and know what he needs. Like, I wondered about Dante last year coming in, right? Like, where he was at UCLA and having to sit a year, and it's easy to conclude he's going to be amazing. It was like, for me, it was a little bit of a wait and see, and he had a great year. Like, I couldn't have been – the only thing I was right about was he wasn't a Heisman finalist. Everything else was awesome.
Right.
And so I've always given Lanning credit of, no, Bo is still my guy, and Bo comes back and has his last great year in Eugene, right? And then the next year, what does he do? Well, he doesn't go to an unproven situation. He brings in Dylan Gabriel. All right, here we go. We're just rolling this thing over. Goes Dante Moore. Dante sits the year. He gets Dante ready. What's he do this year? He brings in Dylan Raiola. Guy started multiple years for Nebraska. He got him to come into Eugene, sit the year, unless there's an injury, sit the season, and now you've got that. And then if that doesn't work out, dude, that guy just will never be He'll never sit comfortable. He'll never fall back on I got this guy. If he sees it and he doesn't trust it, he's one of those guys that just will move on. He will not hesitate. He will do what it takes to keep it humming. So, Big win yesterday in Eugene as the Ducks land the number 1 quarterback in 2027, Will Minsell. A lot to get to in the third hour of the program. I got one more college football note, a story that came out yesterday, and I instantly had to do some research on something because of my real feelings when it was announced. We'll get to that, and then also the NFL Draft is today. So we'll talk about the NFL Draft. We got the Magic hat at the top of the 9 a.m. hour. Hour 3 rolls on. Dirt and Sprague, 105.1, The Fan. We got the Magic Hat at the top of the hour. We got the NFL Draft we're going to start diving into coming up here at the bottom. Got some good NBA games on deck. We'll get to that in the final hour as well. Nice little Thursday morning for you. It's supposed to be beautiful today. Last I checked, it was at least. I think we're supposed to have like a run of good weather, aren't we? Let's see. Yeah.
Yeah, this weekend's supposed to be good.
Dude, all the way up until like right now, it's slated to be from today until the following Saturday.
Oh, my.
I have nothing but sun on my weather app.
Oh, beautiful.
Now,
that could change.
bit of a magic hat thing, but can I ask you this? Do you trust the Apple weather map or weather app?
I have more faith in it than I probably should.
Do you check your local news, or do you just open the weather app on your phone and say that's what it's going to be?
I have no measure to turn on the local news for anything.
Really?
Nah.
I mean, local
sports? I'm a very simple person. I'm not even local sports. Sports Center is my home base if I need sports stuff.
Wow, you just crapping all over
I have nothing against local news. That is
here.
probably one of the toughest markets to be in is local news. I want no part of local news. I do not watch local news.
Disrespectful.
I am not disrespectful. I'm
going to report your name to KPTV.
I am just a simple person.
K2, KGW. I'm going to tell them all what you're saying right now. You'll be
Again,
public enemy
I
number one.
respect what they do. I just would not want to be A, doing it, or B, watching it.
Yeah, I tend to probably rely too much on that app. I'll see it and be like, okay. And then sometimes it's wrong, and I'm like, wow. I don't really hold it against it. If I get a newscaster report and they're wrong, I'm like, yo, you told me something that was incorrect.
Yeah. No, I think this is why widgets were invented, so we could have it right on our lock screen so that as soon as something changes, we're aware of it, because Portland weather is weird like that.
Portland weather is weird like that. Magic Hat coming up here at the top of the hour. Many of you may remember this guy.
Andy is my daddy. Are you smoking crack? Hell no. We ain't dead at all.
That's Legend. Famous caller from the Paul Feinbaum show. He is a notorious Alabama diehard.
That don't piss you off, dude.
And Kalen DeBoer, year one, presented all of this audio.
Can't you take the heat? Get out of the kitchen. I love the kitchen. So let's get that right. We'll send a U-Haul to your ass.
Because they didn't make the playoff. They won 9 games year one. Well, year two, they come back. They get to the SEC title game. They got bludgeoned by Georgia in that game. But they made the playoff. Then they have a crazy comeback on the road at Oklahoma, and then they get slaughtered by Indiana. And so while it hasn't been national championship dreams that Kalen DeBoer had when he left Washington for Alabama, I don't think it's been the worst, but I also think Alabama fan went from Nick Saban thinking we're going to win the title every year, and, for many years did, to can't make the playoff or we're not really a true contender. Like beating Oklahoma in the playoff is nice. It's a road win, but Oklahoma was, one of those borderline playoff teams. Well, Alabama did something yesterday that has been kind of in the works, according to Greg Byrne and some of the message board stuff. They gave Kalen DeBoer a contract extension. It's very interesting. So I see this story, this headline. I'm like, I got to read about this, dude. Because my instant thought was, did he get an extension but restructure? And is some of the restructure around, we can fire you. It's easier to do this. How much we pay you if we fire you. And then I read about the contract and I go, well, that's definitely not the deal. They're giving him a full runway here. This is an interesting deal. So it's just a 2-year extension that adds on. Oh, you see, the 7-year extension, so 2 extra years now runs through 2033. His annual salary is now $12.5 million. That's a $2 million raise from what it was scheduled to make. If he leaves Alabama in 27, it's a $10 million buyout, $8 million in 28, $6 million in 29. If they fire him, right, the buyout's not very big. If they fire him, Alabama owes him 90% of the remaining contract with no duty to mitigate. And so you look at Kalen DeBoer in Alabama, and he's already kind of coming in as a lightning rod. Yesterday, Alabama was like, you know what? Lightning rod no more, my man. Kurt Cignetti is the number 1 paid coach in college football. He makes $13.2. That .2 is the difference between him and Kirby Smart. So getting you one of those at Indiana is the perfect launch point to make the most money of all the coaches. Number 2 is Kirby at 13 flat. Number 3, to get old Lane Train out of Oxford, LSU had to pony up and pay him the same amount as they pay Kirby Smart. Kirby's got 2 titles. Lane's got none. Lane's never been to a title game. And LSU's like, dude, we're beyond desperate. Let us show you how gross we are. Here's $13 million. Tied at 4 because of the extension now is Kalen DeBoer at 12.5. You know who he's tied with? Ryan Day, who has a national championship. It's not that like giving somebody more time. He's 20-8, by the way. He's 12-4 in the SEC. But because they missed the playoff year 1 and because they got beaten up by Indiana at the Rose Bowl, Bama fans in a weird spot of like, I don't think they hate him. I also don't know if they heard this yesterday. It was like super stoked. My perspective would be I still really like Kalen DeBoer. I did think it was going to be like year 1. They made the playoff in Saban's last year in the 4-team. Now we've expanded this. Surely they'll make the 12-team playoff. It's Alabama. It's got all this talent. No, it wasn't. They lost that Oklahoma game. Coincidentally, Oklahoma beat them and put an end to that run. So they finished with a 9-3 record. But extending Kalen DeBoer after 2 seasons that, by definition, are successful, but according to the fan base, feels really shaky. Very interesting development out of Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, I think Alabama's still a little bit in the Saban cloud. I think
they're going to be in that until he wins a title.
And that's just the nature of following one of these great head coaches, is that you're going to get that backlash from the fan base that expects it to stay the way it is. So, I understand the restructuring because we're in a college football world now where it's almost like the NFL, where if you come in and you're not producing to the standard, then we're gonna find a way to make it as less impactful or less of a dent in our financial abilities to get you out if we need to. So I see both ways how this came about, but yeah, I think that target is still on his back until he gets Alabama, honestly, all the way to the mountaintop. That scrutiny is going to stay there, and that's just the nature of being an Alabama head coach.
Should be noted too, they took care of all their coaches because Nate Oates signed a contract extension as well, and that was reported a while ago that was happening, but they kind of finally made it official. So and they also, by the way, they boosted the salary pool for the assistants. Courtney Morgan is the guy who kind of runs a lot of what they're doing in recruiting and the way it's all handled. He's going to make $1.2 million a year. But it's funny to go to the Roll Tide Reddit because you can always count on Reddit to be level-headed, which is great about Reddit. And somebody did a post on a case against the DeBoer re-signing. Huge burden for the program. If it doesn't work out, we're absolutely screwed. Now, what does that mean for them? I don't really know. Like, if they don't make the playoff this year, because the last I had seen, they're kind of in that late teens, 20s preseason thought bubble. Now, they're Alabama. They're going to have 5 stars out there. They very well could come out the gate and be 7-0, and if that's the case, they're going to be like a top 6 team. But if they have any sorts of struggle and they're, God forbid, a 6-1 or a 8-2, like that's going to be
like last year.
Well, yeah, a little bit like that. They were kind of playing for a while there. It felt very week to week. Ty Simpson was great. Their offensive line was great. They had that win at Georgia, and you're like, here they go. But they started the season with that loss to a garbage Florida State team.
Yeah.
I mean, that ended up being just an atrocious Florida State team, and they didn't look ready for it at all. That's always been Dirt's point about DeBoer is they have DeBoer teams largely have success. So you can't actually argue against the results. It's the process of it is there's a lot of games that individuals might be able to look at and go, should you have won that game?
Right.
You should have lost that one and that one and that one and that one. That was a little bit of their story his last year at UW, but there are definitely some split people on the contract extension in terms of Kalen DeBoer now making the 4th most in college football. And I think the one thing going for them, if you're not in on DeBoer and you don't think DeBoer is ever going to be the guy to win a title, that's fine. stability is a huge element of this.
Sure.
Like, if you think he's a really good coach, but not great, okay. It's easy to argue with that group. Yeah, I'd rather have the really good coach in one spot, certain he's not going anywhere unless he wants to. Mm-hmm. We're backing him. The staff pool is really supported. There's nothing to question here. And yeah, maybe you have a 9-3 season again. You don't make the playoffs, and people are going to bring that up, and the hot seat stuff's going to start, right? The boosters are going to have those conversations on the country club golf courses. But I think the administration of the university yesterday basically loudly said, we're not going to dabble in this. We're replacing Nick Saban. DeBoer has been 20-8 in 2 years. Let's calm down a little bit. Let's let him build this the way he needs to build it to try to win. So not shocking, because a lot of people had said this might be on the horizon, but it was more like, hey, let us show you. If we fire you, we're going to pay almost all the contract. Okay. They're all in. Kalen DeBoer's show is going nowhere in Tuscaloosa. A lot to get to. We got the Magic Hat coming up here at the top of the hour. Up next, the NFL Draft and a couple storylines around the NFL, including one, Kenyon Sadiq, and how ready he is for the NFL. We know he's ready. One legend saying this about him. We'll bring that to you. We got a head coach that won't be there for one of the days of the draft because he won't admit that something happened, but I think he's basically admitting it happened. But the NFL Draft is tonight. Let's dive into it next. But first, Brandon with the Sports Update.
Now, from the George McCoy and Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
This update brought to you by Mountaintop Metal Roofing. No maintenance, energy efficient, fire resistant, and a lifetime warranty. Do it once, do it right. Visit mountaintopmetalroofing.com. First on the Fan, Draft Day is finally here. The 2026 NFL Draft begins tonight with the first round live from Pittsburgh. Oregon tight end Kenyon Sadiq and safety Dylan Thieneman, both expected to be drafted around in the top 20. You can listen to the draft on 910 ESPN Portland starting at 4 o'clock. Patriots head coach Mike Vrabel said yesterday he won't be with the team for the third day of the draft on Saturday. He said he is seeking counseling starting this weekend and plans to be with his family outside of Massachusetts. Last night in the NBA playoffs, both top seeds were flexing in the first round. The Pistons avenged their Game 1 loss at home to the Magic with a 98-83 win in Game 2 to tie the series 1-1. The game was tied at halftime before Detroit unleashed a 30-3 run to start the second half and cruise to victory. Cade Cunningham with a double-double, 27 points, 11 assists. The Thunder, on the other hand, took care of the Suns at home in Game 2, 120-107 for a 2-0 series lead. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander with an MVP-like performance, 37 points and 9 assists. His running mate, Jalen Williams, left the game in the third quarter with an apparent hamstring injury, something to keep an eye on as they head to Phoenix. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Brendan Henson from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work. Insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
Sports Saturday with Joe Fisher and Rashad.
We've got the NBA playoffs roll on tonight. And the neighborhood restaurant group poll question of the day. What will you watch more of tonight? The NBA playoffs or the NFL draft? Brandon, you said you would choose the NBA playoffs.
Yep.
Heard from other people say, give me the live sports more than the announcement of guys or Mel Kiper screaming at us. Right now, that poll result is NBA playoffs 60% over the NFL draft at 40%.
Okay.
You can vote at Dirt and Sprague. That is your neighborhood restaurant group poll question of the day.
Again, if the NBA playoffs were on, say, ESPN, and I was able to multi-view the draft along with the NBA playoffs, then they'd both be on the TV. But with Amazon Prime,
you can't.
I got to pick one.
Yeah, you can't do
Sorry.
both. Yeah, no, there's no doubt about that. That's the unfortunate nature of the first round. I haven't been anti-Amazon Prime with the playoffs or the regular season. I have found with the playoffs, it's like kind of pain in my ass. But I will probably be watching the NFL draft on the iPad. But I'm excited that it's here. I know it's not the sexiest draft. Like the biggest debate right now is Ty Simpson a first round guy? And Matt Miller of ESPN, who we were supposed to have on like 8 different times, but his schedule kept getting changed, he said this on ESPN radio about Ty Simpson yesterday as we get ready to go into the draft today.
We're all assuming that the Arizona Cardinals will trade back into the draft tonight to take him. If the entire world knows that the Cardinals are going to trade back into the first round to take him and no one else is going to, if you're Arizona, do you really have to jump back in tonight to get him unless you just want to lock up that fifth-year option? So he is, outside of Love, I think probably the most fascinating player tonight just because of, I think, where expectations are versus the reality. I haven't talked to a single team that says, yeah, he's our guy. We love him. We'd take him in the first round. Instead, when you talk to teams, they tell you, we think the Cardinals will probably take him. So no one's willing to claim Ty Simpson as their guy this year.
Dan Orlovsky is on television this morning basically saying if he's not a first-round quarterback, everybody else is wrong. I love the take of like, well, I'm not wrong. You're all wrong.
He's jumped on that boat.
He's all in, man. And he brings up interesting points. Like we were talking about Kalen DeBoer in Alabama. I don't think people really thought they were that legit. It was, are they top 12 team? Sure. But their run game was atrocious. Their defense was good, but like they had moments that they weren't good. I mentioned the Florida State game. They just could not get stops in that game when they needed to. And so I think because of the way the season went, a lot of it was Ty Simpson. Now, the sample size of him being a starter is not great. And the buzz going into the draft tonight, as there's a lot of things that are up in the air, is Arizona wants him bad. And if Arizona can't find a trade partner to get out of 3, they might go Jeremiah Love out of the simple fact of he's really good and he'll sell tickets. They basically, the coach, the general manager, and the owner all have different opinions of why they should draft Jeremiah Love. But a lot of people are saying if they don't trade out of 3, they'll go Love. And then the big intel is that they may trade at the very back end of the draft to come back in and draft Ty Simpson. I've said before, the history of guys with that few starts is not great. I thought Ty Simpson was good. That his offensive line was a little problematic, so given that, like, give him some credit for it. But I'm also not, like, overly wowed. That doesn't have to mean that he's not going to be a good quarterback. We just watched Sam Darnold have the ultimate redemption career and win the Super Bowl with Seattle. So nothing is going to be defined by where he goes. I think most of us would probably bet Arizona, which might be one of the biggest parts of the draft as the 3rd pick, is largely a crap organization that nobody is going to trust to handle well with the quarterback. But is Ty Simpson good enough where he doesn't win, it fizzles out, he goes to another spot? Maybe that's what Kyler Murray is going to be for Minnesota this year. He got to the playoffs once with Arizona. I'm not a big Kyler Murray guy, but the belief is he's going to Kevin O'Connell and all those weapons, and here we go, man. He's going to have a real start at this thing. Maybe that's Ty Simpson if Arizona does indeed trade back in and take him. But going into the draft, it's mainly about, is Ty Simpson going to be a first-round guy? We know Mendoza. Is it going to be Bailey? Is it going to be Reese at 2? And that's been a very polarizing debate. I think they're even money.
They're even
on the odds board. So truly, people aren't really sure where to go. I think I bet Bailey, but the upside of Reese might be bigger. And then you've got Arizona at 3. You got Tennessee at 4. If Love doesn't get drafted by Arizona, do they go running back? Do they go Sonny Styles? There's a lot of intel and buzz that Rob Saleh really likes Sonny Styles. Matt Miller's mock draft, his last one before the draft today, and I want to get to some Kenyon Sadiq stuff here, but he's got Mendoza, Bailey, Reese. So he has Reese falling to Arizona, which, I think from a competent organization standpoint, I don't trust Arizona, but if they made that pick, I'd at least go, okay. I know Walter Nolan missed some time last year, but I still like that pick. And he's got Love going to Tennessee. And then you've got the Giants, of course, who have 5 and 10. And Jordan Tyson, the Arizona State receiver, I watched an interview he did on the NFL Network yesterday, and he was, in a roundabout way, saying he knows where he's going. He's like, yeah, have a good sense. So Arizona's not looking for a receiver. The Titans appear to be more in love with Love or Styles. And then we know the Jets are going edge rusher defensive guy. Raiders are going. We just know the obvious teams. The Giants might go Jordan Tyson at 5 because they can't chance that he'll fall to them at 10, which if they can get him and then Caleb Downs falls because he's a safety and people don't want to draft safeties early, we don't know how the careers are going to pan out, but saying you've got Caleb Downs and Jordan Tyson on paper, that would be a huge win. And then, of course, you've got all the other stuff of the Commanders at 7. Are they going Sonny Styles? What are the Saints going to do? Is it Carnell Tate? Seems like a pretty logical choice as maybe the first or second best receiver in the draft. So, Ruben Bain is going to slip. I understand that this draft is not super sexy to people. I get that. I had the take. But as I've been reading about it and as we watch the last couple years, the defensive line depth and how vital that is, and then also you just look through the teams who were picking in the top end of the draft last year, like take New England, right? New England's up there. They go get Will Campbell. They're in the Super Bowl. And I'm not saying that's Will Campbell, obviously. Like Drake May has a big part. Vrabel, they brought in the most free agents. They spent a ton of money. I'm just saying, a lot of organizations are in this spot because of the way the NFL works. Very likely you're going to get 1, maybe 2 teams that are in this picking that are not going to be there next year. And so I'm in. I know the quarterback thing is the sexiest part of the draft. I do agree that the NBA playoff teams playing tonight are more entertaining than sitting around for 15 minutes at a time or 10 minutes at a time. But I'm super in on seeing how this draft is going to shake out, who is going to fall, who is still going to be there. I want to get to Kenyon Sadiq, the rumor mill spot that he might fall to. Dylan Thieneman seems to have a landing spot for many people. And the Dallas Cowboys. What are the Dallas Cowboys doing? Very interesting what their press conference was yesterday. We'll get to all that coming up next on 105.1 The Fan. So, Brandon, let me ask you this. We got the Magic Hat coming up at the top of the hour. It's NFL Draft Day. Is Mike Vrabel announcing that he won't be around for the Patriots' Day 3 picks because of counseling? Like, we didn't play his audio. He's admitting that he had an affair, right? Like, aren't we just basically concluding that that's the deal?
I think he's saying it without saying it.
Which is odd to me. Like, I don't need you to be Kobe and be at a table. Like, I do not force myself on her. I don't necessarily need that. I just find it all very... Diana Rossini's disappeared. She's quit.
Yep.
There's a lot of intel that her husband hired a PI, and that's how the photos circulated and got put to the New York Post. So, that's not going well. And then you got Vrabel over here. They both denied it from the get. Now they're like, ah. And now he's like, I have to seek counseling, and I've apologized and talked to my wife and my children, and I won't be there for day. It's just the whole thing is super odd.
I know.
Super bizarre.
It's just escalated very quickly. And I think a lot of what he just said it in the most professional way possible. He's like, okay, I need to take care of myself. If a player came to me in this situation, and of course not saying what the situation is, but I would give him the same advice.
He had the
affair.
affair.
Myself.
What are we doing here?
It's just that professional. I'm going to talk around it without actually saying.
I don't think he's ever going to mention. He's going to say like, oh, I went through that time in my life and I had struggles, and they're never going to talk about it.
No.
And I think largely it's because also Rossini's involved in this, and he's probably doing her right in some ways because of legality reasons of divorce and all that stuff. Like, you got to be careful what you say out loud.
Yeah.
It's just a very odd shadow cast upon New England as they go into the draft,
which is unfortunate because you're coming off a great year last year, and now you have all this in the off season, and maybe draft picks tonight along with AJ Brown coming in June will kind of put this all to the side for the short term.
Yeah,
but it's definitely casting a large cloud over New England, especially on a draft weekend.
Yep,
it's just not a good look.
Yeah. So New England's going to be dealing with that over the weekend. He won't be there for day 3. Stephen Jones, the future owner of the Cowboys, they had a press conference yesterday. Did you see Jerry Jones see Bill Clinton get up, trip on the stage, walking over to him, and then just be like, hey, it's the president. Then him and Bill chop it up, and then he just left. He just left the press conference with Bill Clinton, because I guess that's what you do when you see Bill Clinton. And Stephen Jones talking about George Pickens, who's going to be playing on the tag if he plays. He hasn't signed that tag yet. They've tagged George Pickens, and Stephen Jones just saying straight up, we're not paying George Pickens.
Let's start with the fact it's not easy, having 2 receivers being paid top of the market. I mean, that's obviously a stretch, especially when you have other great players on your team. A quarterback that's been here, being the highest paid player in this league for many years now. Certainly, that's part of it. The other thing is the newness of George being here. And I think George has just done an amazing job. I mean, he's exceeded all expectations. I think anybody, or we wouldn't have gotten him for a 3rd-round pick. So that's a plus. And, a lot of these things, they make their way toward a long-term deal. But that's the biggest part of it, between the business and the newness of it. I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah, no chance. I will be surprised if they end up giving him the extension. He hasn't even signed it. And by the way, I think I found out his agent's the same agent as Micah Parsons.
Oh,
so how'd that go?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Right.
That relationship.
We're gonna do this dance again.
We're mad at Tommy
Right.
Two Nichols and his reputation with
Yeah.
agents. Stephen Jones, Jerry Jones, line 1 with some agents around the National Football League. So clearly they're trying to tag Pickens. They might draft a guy. They've got 2 picks. They got 12 and 20 at least going in. That's kind of some of the buzz of like George Pickens, the future of it. Maybe a draft one of the guys who falls to you at 12, who it ends up being. Maybe Carnell Tate falls to you for whatever reason. So have to wait and see on that one. Greg Olson was asked about Kenyon Sadiq, and he just talked about how guys are more ready for the NFL, especially at that position.
I think it's going to be interesting to see where he goes, right? So much of this is fit. What type of offense are they going to run? What kind of role do they see him playing? Is his hand on the ground? Is he attached to the formation? Is he playing more out in space? So many of those factors play into the success immediately that we see from young tight ends. But if there's one thing that's been clear, when I first came into the league, there was an understanding that tight ends were going to take a couple years to develop before they really became prominent players. I think we've seen over the last couple draft cycles, the Brock Bowers of the world, these highly, highly talented tight ends that come out of college, highly accomplished, the ability to make the NFL transition seems to have gotten easier. And I think a big part of that is teams understand a lot more how to use them.
Yeah, I agree with that. I also think guys coming back to college for more money and then going to the draft is going to help as development goes on. If Sadiq does not get picked by the Ravens, a lot of people think he's destined to go to Carolina at 19. And maybe you like that pick for him. I hope he goes to Baltimore because I'm not super high on the Panthers, mainly because their quarterback is 5'3". Dylan Thieneman is rumored to be all but a certainty for Minnesota. We know how that stuff goes. Could just be he ends up getting picked by the Cowboys or whatever, but a lot of people really like him in that Harrison Smith role that Minnesota is sitting at 18. And so we'll have to wait and see. Pregnon could be back in first round. Maybe look at a Houston-like type team. I'm trying to see where he was on Miller's mock. He has where did he have him? You know what? That's right. He didn't have him. So I was probably looking at a different mock. He had Pregnon going to like a Houston if Houston stays in the first round. So We'll see what happens. 3 Oregon Ducks. NFL draft is here. Not sexy going in. Could be sexy after watching and seeing the results of it all play out. We got a loaded final hour of the show. And we're going to kick it off with the Magic Hat. Hour 4, Dirt and Sprague, 105.1 The Fan. Are you
on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on the Fan, draft day is finally here. The 2026 NFL Draft begins tonight with the first round live from Pittsburgh. Oregon tight end Kenyon Sadiq and safety Dylan Thieneman both expected to be drafted around in the top 20. You can listen to the draft on 910 ESPN Portland starting at 4 o'clock. Patriots head coach Mike Vrabel said yesterday he won't be with the team for the third day of the draft on Saturday. He said he is seeking counseling starting this weekend and plans to be with his family outside of Massachusetts. Last night in the NBA playoffs, both top seeds were flexing in the first round. The Pistons avenged their Game 1 loss at home to the Magic with a 98-83 win in Game 2. That series tied 1-1 now. The game was tied at halftime before Detroit unleashed a 30-3 run to start the second half and cruised to victory. Cade Cunningham with a double-double, 27 points, 11 assists. The Thunder, meanwhile, took care of the Suns at home in Game 2, 120-107 for a 2-0 series lead. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander with an MVP-like performance, 37 points and 9 assists. His running mate, Jalen Williams, left the game in the third quarter with an apparent hamstring injury, something to keep an eye on as they head to Phoenix. Alabama and football head coach Kalen DeBoer agreed to a new 7-year contract yesterday that will pay him $12.5 million per season. The deal includes a $10 million buyout through the end of January 2027 and decreases by $2 million after each of the next 2 years. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Brandon Henson from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work. Insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The home of the firm of Harris and Meringue. Weekdays 10 to 1.
Welcome back in the final hour. Yes, it's almost over. That was a tough commercial break. For those that don't know, let me give you a peek behind the curtain. That one was really difficult, probably the most difficult one we've done all week. Commercial breaks are usually like, hey, take care of your business, go to the restroom, get some water, what have you, and that's largely what it's been today. That one was tough because let me just tell everybody out there, your morning commute, if you're catching us on the links, we got a listener tweeting us on the golf course. Oh,
jealous.
So jealous.
Absolutely jealous.
That was a tough one because Brandon was crying. I had to console him. This is the last shift for him for Dirt and Sprague. He's going to be out tomorrow. Swag is going to be back, and that was emotionally devastating for him. And I had to give him a hug. He's not much of a hugger, he said. He doesn't want me to share this on the air, but I had to share it because, you know, we like to be honest.
I would think with Dirt being out and being sick, you'd be a little more cautious of giving out hugs to people, trying to not catch any sick bugs that might be going around in here.
Nah, dude, I'm spreading it. What do you mean? I've somehow escaped it. Knock on wood. I have no idea what's going to happen to me in 2 days, a day, a week. Knock on wood. I've been next to him when he's been sick like 8 times in the winter. And now we're in the spring, and he's still getting sick, and I luckily have not caught the dirtitis. So you're okay with my hug. You'll be all right. Let's get to the Magic Hat to kick off the final hour of the program. All right, let's get to the Magic Hat. It's the Magic Hat.
Yeah, baby! That's what I've been waiting for!
Bring it on. Basically a bunch of topics, and we have no idea where the sports gods want us to go until Swag pulls it out of his Magic Hat.
Hocus pocus, where are you?
Now you see me, now you don't.
It's magic.
It's simply what it is. It's magic. We don't know what's going to come out of this hat.
Where is that rabbit?
Abracadabra, MFers. Let's do the Magic Hat.
The only thing this hat's good for is the trash can.
All right. It is time for the Magic Hat. It's Thursday. Good morning. Van text line's 503-864-6326. Look, I got some stuff in that hat, all right? I got some stuff I've been noting throughout the week that I got in that hat. Brandon has got some Magic Hat stuff, and I'm very fascinated because he's teeing it up as very personal stuff, more so than, did you see the Ice Spice slap at McDonald's stuff?
No, but I loved Charles Barkley's analysis of it when that came up on Inside the NBA.
The Slappy Happy Meal?
Yeah.
Have you ever come close, ever in your life, to having a confrontation at a fast food restaurant?
No.
Even if the order's wrong or somebody's being a D-bag in the restaurant, you've never come close.
No.
Okay. I've had an experience with somebody that's actually had a confrontation.
Interesting.
Boy, it's uncomfortable. But all right, let's dive in. What's the Magic Hat want us to start with today?
Let's see. Let Granny play.
Let Granny play? Is that yours?
No, remember, some of these are rollovers, right?
Yeah, that ain't mine.
Okay.
Yeah, let Granny play.
This is why we need dirt.
I wonder what old
like
person
this.
he's talking about in sports that wants to play.
We'll have
Watch
to
us have like 8 different ones from last week.
Oh, guess what? It's mine first. Honey, where is my shirt? All right. So.
Yes, this is already off. Let me just say it's a great start.
We're already off the rails here.
Okay.
All right. So if you're lucky enough to have a loving wife that loves to raid your wardrobe and like to wear your outfits from time to time, it's fun if it happens every once in a while. It might, perk up your interest a little bit. But my wife has gotten to a habitual state of where every time I see her when I get home or when I wake up, she's wearing a sweatshirt of mine or she's wearing a hoodie, sweatpants.
Yep.
And I'm not mad about it. I think the only part I get mad about is when she puts it back in my closet.
After wearing it?
After wearing it. And it's either A, it's dirty.
Yeah.
Or B, it's not in. I'm an organized closet type of guy. I have to have my hoodies with my hoodies, my sweatshirts with my sweatshirts, shirts and shirts, stuff like that.
Okay.
But she just throws it in there, not even caring a world where it is. Or
it's kind of all over the
it.
place.
It's a mess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. Is that is that any experience that you deal with at home?
Yeah, I actually been dealing with this more, I would say the last year to 2 years at my house. So my wife is 5'1.5". She's very short. I'm 6 foot, so we have a height difference there.
Sure.
My clothes on her look huge.
Right.
But she's in on the bigger clothes era.
Yep.
And so it doesn't catch me off guard to see her wearing a shirt of mine. Some shirts I'll get rid of or I want to get rid of.
Sure.
She'll take them. I'm thinking they're going to a donation.
Right.
And the next time I see it, she's made it into like a crop top, oversized shirt thing. And I'm like, wait a minute. So it's not unusual. She doesn't really wear my hoodies, right? She's not really dabbling into my pants for the big baggy pant look. The shirts thing I'm familiar with. Let me just say, I don't mind it. But also, like, if she just wears it lounging around, I'm the opposite of you. I don't care if she throws it back in the closet. I will hang it back up.
Sure.
Now, you can make an argument of, hey, dude, just your body oils and the accumulation of stuff, like, everything should be washed. Dirt is I wash literally every ounce of clothing that I buy before I wear. Like, when you buy underwear pack, do you wash the underwear or will you just pull it out of the pack fresh, put it on?
Wash it first.
Yeah, see, I'm the opposite.
Okay.
I understand wanting to wash some clothing items.
Sure.
But underwear, I'm ripping the pack open and I'm putting them on.
Okay.
He is not that way. You are not that way.
Right.
So your problem wouldn't really be a problem for me.
Right.
To me, it's more about how much stuff is in your closet, lady.
Right.
Because you ain't wearing it.
Yeah.
You're wearing my closet, which is like cool. You like my clothes.
Which is like a third of your closet. Yeah.
But it's, like what's happened to your
to
stuff.
your clothes. Yeah.
Why are you wearing my clothes? Exactly. In a weird way, it's somewhat like a compliment. It's a little sexy when they wear the big clothes.
Sure.
But also, I can understand you're thinking of, if you're a really neat, tidy person, and I also am not quite that.
Yeah.
Like, I have a hoodie right now, and it's like half off the hanger, and it's driving me crazy, but I'm also too lazy to just put it back in.
Right.
If I'm you and I have a really put-together organization situation, and she's just willy-nilly throwing it around,
right?
We're having a conversation.
Yeah.
A polite, calm conversation. I have a hard time viewing you, not knowing you enough to say this, a hard time viewing you ever really raising your voice and being
I would
mad.
I would never bring it up. That's just kind of like an internal quirk. Like, can you just at least put it with where you found it last instead of just throwing it in there?
You strike me as like, hey,
oh yeah,
could you please put this away properly? And then when she like comes back, maybe a little more aggressive energy, you go, No problem. No problem.
Yeah.
You walk away and you internalize it and you wait for the magic hat to address it.
Yeah,
Am I right on that?
exactly. Yeah, I'm the peacemaker. So
There
this
you
is probably
go.
where the only place where I
Yeah.
would bring that up. And now when she listens to it, she's probably going to have a conversation about it after.
Buddy, I can't
Which
tell you how
is
many
okay.
conversations I've had to have because of what we talk about
I
on
know.
the air and be like,
I'll just tell her it's probably the first of many that you're going to hear.
I mean, it's the
as
job,
I
right?
Stay out here, exactly.
But I think a lot of people are in your boat of the wife taking my clothes. What the hell? Why are you taking? It's one thing to wear a shirt every once in a while. Maybe you want to wear a shirt to go to bed or every day. If it's becoming an everyday thing, you need to have a talk of, can we get rid of your clothes then? Are we just going to share clothes? Is that where we're at?
Yeah. Only positive would be you're not going out to spend more clothes. Instead, you're just going to wear mine. That's okay. If you're going to save money in that case, sure. But your closet is literally twice the size, if not 3 times the size of my closet.
Oh, yeah.
What is wrong with your clothes?
The wife has always gotten the bigger closet, and I'm okay with that. I understand it. That's the deal. Is your wife like pretty tall, way
no,
shorter?
She's 5'2".
5'2".
Or 5'4", I think is the correct. But she's short.
Yeah. I know somebody that had this kind of issue a while back, and the funniest thing was them having the idea but not executing of, I've had it. I'm not arguing about this. I'm just going to put on one of her dresses and walk out and then just lounge around the house and like ruin something and see how she feels about it. Put my damn clothes back. Now, they never did that, but they were like, I'm driven to the edge of doing it.
Yeah.
But no, I can relate. My wife wears the clothes once in a while.
All right. Let's move on.
Let's get one more in before we break.
Yeah. Let's see if it's actually yours. All rise?
All rise. All rise. Is that mine?
Is that a rollover?
That is not mine. That's a rollover as well. We got to get rid of these rollovers.
I know. Jeez.
The problem with the rollovers is we don't want to give away what the topic is. We want to kind of tease it.
Sure.
But we don't, we're not following it.
Super Shiv?
Super Shiv. So this is a really fun one. Did you watch the last Superman movie?
Yes.
The blockbuster. So are you a Superman guy?
I can be, yes.
Okay.
I'm a big superheroes movie.
You like going to the box office.
So I will go see the DC. I will go see the Marvel.
Totally
I'll go
get
see
it.
those.
I'm more of a Marvel movie guy myself than DC. I love Batman's my favorite one, but I think Marvel makes better movies.
Right.
I did not see the last Superman. I'm pretty super anti-Superman. I think he's my least favorite superhero. I don't find him interesting in any way.
Okay.
That being said, the last one did okay, and people actually said it was really good. It was well done. They liked the guy who played Superman. So what are they going to do with that if it does well? Make a sequel.
Make another one. Yep.
There is a story out of the state of Georgia. Evidently, where they're shooting the next Superman, there is an entire prison population that now hates Superman. So because of where they're shooting the movie in Georgia, the prisoners are now going to be losing yard time, activity time, and they're going to have to be put in their cells for large stretches, much more than they're accustomed to dealing with, because they can't have prisoners out and about in the prison yard because of where they're shooting the movie. And this has sent the prison through a fury of like, screw this guy, screw this movie. This guy can never visit this prison. He's going to get shivved. It's going to be the guy on Dave Chappelle's Real World when he's on the dance floor. And he's like, oh my gosh, I got stabbed. It's crazy that a movie is now going to dictate the daily schedule of people at a prison. But it's happening in Georgia because of Superman sequel.
That's the first. I don't think I've ever heard of that. So
I hadn't either.
That's the last area that you want to mess with and have the wrong side of. So I thought that's
look. You want to make. And by the way, this isn't like for an 8-month stretch. This is going to be a very short period of time. But it's like,
still enough to.
I don't have enough time. I don't have enough freedom in my life, and you're taking away some of the little freedom I have. Right. I've never been a Superman guy. That being said, I'd never heard of something like this happening before. Hey, we're shooting a movie somewhat near your prison, less yard time. Get in the cell. Like, they're never going to watch that movie. They're probably going to boycott that sequel forever.
Right.
And you know what? I'm weirdly standing with the prisoners here. What are we doing? We got to put them back in the cell more and drive them crazy? A lot of them earn that prison time.
Sure.
But, it's kind of crazy that they're going to lose some prison yard time because Superman has to walk in the countrysides of Georgia.
He will not be getting any autographs while they're out there.
Don't visit the prison. You're getting shipped. That's the takeaway.
lesson.
That's the takeaway. More Magic Hat coming up next on The Fan. They're screaming about the NFL draft. I turn the corner with a sales meeting going on. I'm just super loud. I'm like, oh, sorry. Awkward.
They should be used to that by now, right?
Many listeners, by the way, supporting you, Brandon, on the... Dude, my wife steals all my clothes.
I figured that was going to touch, some people out there.
That's a normal thing.
I'm sure it is. Yeah. I'm sure it is. It's just, it kind of boils up every once and again.
Isn't it funny how we grow up and at one point we just want a girl to do that? Like, oh, she's wearing my Letterman jacket.
Yeah,
she's got my sweatpants
she got
on.
my jersey on.
She's wearing my basketball short.
Right.
Look how cute she is.
Yeah.
And then we get older and we're like, yo, I just watched those. I wanted to wear those. Not so sexy anymore. Somebody saying, hey, maybe don't go to prison if you don't want to move. Well, look, we don't need that rational context. I'm siding with the prisoners. I can't believe I'm saying that. And if it's a Batman movie, yeah, I'm sorry. You guys might have to be in that story. This is Avengers Doomsday. I'm sorry. We need bad Tony Stark as Dr. Doom. We need him to be out there.
We need it in the prison.
You guys sacrifice your free time. And by the way, this happened, I guess, here. Locally, because we had the movie Bandits years ago in the early 2000s with Billy Bob Thornton and Bruce Willis.
Okay.
And I remember that movie being a big deal because it was filmed here, and they had like one of the scenes where they have a car chase moment happen over by the Lloyd Center, and it was like, oh my God, dude, I roam around there all the time.
Yeah.
They did this down, I think in the Salem area, they used the prison, so they actually had to put the guards or the prisoners away so they could actually film at the prison.
Nice.
So yeah, that happened. All right, let's roll on the Magic Hat. We got a update around the corner. We had to get the NBA playoffs. We got draft day here. What is the Magic Hat telling us to talk about next?
They're back.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you call yourself like a big movie guy? Are you a movie buff? Are you a cinephile? Like, what? Are you a movie at all guy?
My average of being in the movie theater is probably lower to about once or twice a year. Like I just
okay.
Do
you watch movies at home?
Oh yeah. Yeah, movies are kind of a week with the wife, or watch after the kids go to sleep type of situation sometimes. It depends on the movie because there's not really a lot of movies, like especially the new ones that you're like, oh, we got to watch that or stuff like that. Like there's only like a few that are like, oh, we have to see this, or I'm going to wait until it comes out and then I'll see it. But yeah. Movies have kind of dropped a lot as I've gotten older, and I think part of it is just you have to babysit children in order to go to the theater in the first place, which is hard to find. So I would say, we just went recently to see Project Hail Mary. Great movie. It was really good.
Dude. Ryan Gosling's Castaway.
It's really good.
Space Castaway. This is me for 2 hours, buddy.
But no, not a big, I love the movie theater aspect. It's just getting too expensive, and I'd rather save my money.
That's fine. I have a membership to a movie theater, so I get a free ticket every month, and some months I don't go, so it rolls over, and you're like, oh, I got 4 tickets. Me and the family can go for free. I love the movie theaters. I would argue as much as the movie theaters might not have everybody love them back, although I did see the box office is more so far this year than it has been in a long time. So more people have gone to the box office this year, and I think part of that is the movies.
Right.
My biggest thing with streamers and movies is I think they've made too many. Like, if you went on to Prime or Netflix or Apple or wherever, I'm like paralyzed by the choices.
Right.
This new movie, that new movie. The movie theater always told me what movies were out.
Right.
Whether you liked it or you went and watched it or waited for DVD, VHS, whatever. The streamer now is just like Mark Wahlberg in another Amazon Prime movie that's kind of like the last one he made. He's got a lot of intense, high scene action stuff with hijinks and hilarity. And it's like, it's the same movie. I'm not watching that. Kevin Hart starring in Netflix's next Kevin Hart movie, which is a lot like the last Kevin Hart movie. And I'm like, The movie theater, at least, like you mentioned Project Hail Mary, because that was my last movie theater movie.
Mm-hmm.
I was jacked to go to that. I bought the Project Hail Mary
did you get
popcorn
the collectible
tin.
stuff?
Yeah, dude.
Nice.
I'm like, yes, let's do this. And it was great.
Yeah.
Great movie theater movie. The reason I asked this is because we have 2 movies that we just got trailers for.
Right.
Spaceballs 2 is going to come out.
Nice.
And we've got Focker-in-Law.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
I didn't say the F word. Don't accuse me.
Yeah.
But 2 movies, like one obviously a little more, I think, iconic to people in the Spaceballs realm. Now, no John Candy, obviously, right? R.I.P. But a lot of all of the other cast is coming back for that one, including I think they got Rick Moranis.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I liked Meet the Parents. I liked Meet the Fockers. And I don't know if there was a third one, but I don't think I watched that one.
Right.
But this one's supposed to be Ariana Grande is now marrying into the Fokker clan, and he is going to become, of course, like Robert De Niro was to him, and
Right.
De Niro's still in it. So, I'm just curious if those two kind of an early 2000s throwback coming back with another sequel, and then an iconic classic movie finally releasing a sequel.
Yeah.
Does that do it for you?
Nah, maybe, but probably honestly not. I don't think I was big in that fandom when those came out initially in the 2000s. But it just adds to this trend, and I feel older and older every time it happens, where we're just bringing back these 20-year-old, 25-year-old movies, and we're going to get all the cast that are still alive. We're going to get them all together. It's just the biggest money grab that I see now in the movie industry, is that we're going to recreate this. And all these old actors are trying to just get as much money left as they can from all these nostalgia movies, and so I don't know.
So you're anti Spaceballs having a sequel?
I'm not anti it. I hate the trend that we are losing the creativity in the movie industry, that we have to just go back into the 25-year well.
It's hard to get funding for movies, though, and I think that's the difficult thing that Hollywood and all the movie makers have to deal with, is the funding issue. Is just getting movies made is incredibly difficult. But
right.
I'm probably going to see both of these in theaters.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, I'm definitely going to see Spaceballs 2. I'm not expecting the Meet the Parents 1 to be amazing, but I like Ben Stiller. I think Ben Stiller's really good. Let's do one more Magic Hat, and then we'll get going here. We got the NBA playoffs rolling on tonight. A lot to discuss. Are you going to go see the Grogu movie, the Star Wars one?
Yeah.
See, that's coming out in May.
Yeah, I'll go see that.
I think that's going to be a great movie theater movie.
We binged Mandalorian all the time.
Yeah.
Spaghetti Spying.
Oh, I was hoping you'd pull it. You did. Yes. Great job.
Magic of the Magic Hat.
So, dude, I am one that probably talks too much about technology and stuff. I'm kind of old school. I'm legitimately I think next week I'm getting a flip phone. I'm going to walk into the store. I'm going to say, hey, give me a flip phone that's capable of doing this, but will not allow me to do this, and that.
Okay.
So I'm a little bit of the anti-technology movement, right? It has its place, it has its purposes, but I think we're crossing over. There is a company that I've used quite often that is crossing the line, and I don't like it. And it's a very odd invention. Are you familiar with the pasta sauce company Prego?
Yes.
Okay, Prego, they make the spaghetti sauce. A lot of people buy it, whatever.
Yeah, they're the standard, I guess.
Pizza sauce,
popular type of
pasta sauce. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Do you know what they're doing?
No.
They're launching a recording device, and they want you to put it in the middle of your dinner table, and they're calling it the Connection Keeper. And it's basically set to record your entire dinner conversation with your family. Now, it's got a wholesome feel, of course. We're not spying on you. We're just recording all your personal conversations for memory purposes. And they're basically teeing this up as a memory device.
Yeah.
Hey,
it's a vault.
Remember when the kids were 6 and they couldn't pronounce their T's correctly? Let's listen back to that. Get out of here. I don't need pasta. I don't need big pasta sauce company in my kitchen, in my dining room, spying on my conversations. And by the way, 66% of the time, we're not even eating dinner together at the table. It's like, well, I ate it this time because they've got that practice, or I ate it this time because we got this thing. We're eating at different times because of crazy schedules now anyway. Mm-hmm. So dinner times at the table don't happen as often. Why would I buy this? No. Isn't this what the Alexa does? It's already listening to everything.
Probably, yeah.
So why do you need a Prego memory connection keeper device?
I just think it's interesting that it's Prego that came out with this. No, you got phones to do this.
They already do.
Yeah.
I literally had a conversation last week, and an hour after our conversation, the person I was talking to texted and said, they just put an advertisement for this thing that I did not look up.
Mm-hmm.
So they're already doing it.
They're already doing it.
So
you got your in-house webcams. You got
So I need pasta sauce spying on me
Yeah,
now? Let me eat my
right.
spaghetti.
I thought you were going to go, you put this in the spaghetti plate in front at the center of the dinner table.
No, you just put it in the middle of the table. It looks like an Alexa device, and it's supposed to just keep track of your recorded conversations.
No, we already have that kind of stuff.
It's
It's kind of like the Ring camera that's starting to like be more detailed with what comes across it.
We'll find your animal for you,
Yeah.
and you'll also identify who's walking by
And
and
what
where
are they
were,
holding.
and yeah, and then government needs something. Guess who's going to turn that right over?
I know, man. It's scary.
It is scary. Get out of here. Just make pasta sauce. Leave us alone. All right, there's the Magic Hat. We do it every Thursday at 9 a.m. Got some killer NBA matchups tonight. The NFL draft around the corner, and we'll get to all of that coming up next. But first, here's us with a update.
Now, from the George McCoy and Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on the Fan, round of applause for the New York Mets. They finally
did it. No more.
They finally got off the schneid.
But then they lost Lindor.
And then they lose Lindor. Yeah. New York Mets, they won it last night 3-2 over the Twins. It wasn't comfortable either. They were tied 2-2 after 6.
Nothing's comfortable with the Mets.
And they got a run in the 8th and were able to hold on in the 9th.
Yeah.
But they're finally off the 12-game losing streak. Now we wait to find out if they can break the curse of being the first team to make the playoffs after losing 12-plus games in a season.
I would have liked them to lose. I hate the Mets. Go Braves. How about this one? Good turtle news. Over 4,000 sea turtle eggs were at risk of being bulldozed, and volunteers in the month of March all came to the rescue. Trained personnel had moved 3,984 eggs from 44 leatherback nests and 122 eggs from a single loggerhead nest, saving the turtles, and a luxury resort saved over 600 injured sea turtles and helped hatch 120,000 more. They want you to have a luxury resort experience, but they also care about being eco-friendly, and so they helped a lot of the sea turtles. How about that, turtle?
Good for them, man. Protect the turtles. More sports scores and stories in 60 minutes. I'm Brandon Henson from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt, missing work, insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The Fan is live on YouTube and Twitch. And now Window Nation brings you on the...
All right, welcome back in. Delightful little Thursday morning. Devin Sprague here. The band is back together tomorrow, according to both. We'll see if I buy that. Yeah, I don't know if I buy that. We'll see. NFL Draft is tonight. Just want to pass this along because it was sent to me from a friend. I missed it because sometimes you miss stuff. I guess the New York Post, and let me see when they posted this. Yeah, they posted it today. They actually posted this 30 minutes ago. The New York Post following up and never letting up. Diana Rossini and Mike Vrabel caught kissing at a New York City bar from photos 6 years ago.
Whoop, there it is.
Now, I don't believe she was married at this time. Vrabel was very married. His kids at this point were pretty young, but he had been with his wife for a long time. This is nothing new, as this obviously more of a relationship than an affair. You can say it's a relationship, right? I mean, I know we call it an affair because he's married, but like if you've been seeing each other for 6 years, hanging out at bars, doing the nasty, I mean, that's a relationship.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's great. Interesting.
Not great, Bob.
Oh, boy.
NFL Draft. How about that? Overshadowed by Diana Rossini and Mike Vrabel.
It is the Tom Dundon version of the NFL Draft.
What are they going to say on the broadcast when the Patriots get brought up? Are they just going to be like, the Patriots on the clock, they made the Super Bowl last year, and they love Drake May, and then it's going to be about where they should go, right? There's not going to be... We ain't talking about this.
Depends on the pick.
They're going to move right... What's the pick that gets them to bring up Vrabel?
I don't know.
You have to bring him up. He's the coach of the team.
You have to. You have to, especially the way this week is gone. You got to bring it up at some point.
I mean, if they do bring it up, it'll be like very in passing. And obviously, head coach Mike Vrabel is going through his own personal things off the field, but the Patriots are on the clock. Let's see. But
that'll also be out of respect of Rossini, I think.
See, that's odd.
Maybe.
I don't. Why?
But probably not.
She doesn't work for them.
Yeah, that was just a fleeting thought. That's probably not going to happen.
No, there's some people who believe they haven't covered it very well because of both the relationship with the NFL and Rossini was at ESPN for a while.
Right.
And they probably already, maybe they catch some grief for some of this because obviously this was happening while she was at ESPN.
Yep. Which is probably another reason why they wouldn't bring it up.
Scandal, man. It always ends up leading all the news. The old scandal, the hookups.
It's the world we live in.
We have the NFL Draft tonight, and I know some people are excited about that. I think it could end up being an entertaining draft. May not be quarterback heavy. We'll see if Ty Simpson enters the equation. But I think more importantly, we should rightfully be covering, we've got NBA matchups tonight that should be stellar. All right? We've got the Hawks and the Knicks, where that's now back in the ATL Shouty, and that series is tied at 1. 4 o'clock on Prime, and then you've got the Cleveland-Toronto series is a series weirdly nobody wants to watch. It's also starting an hour after the Knicks-Hawks game.
It's the same
We're
scenario.
staggering
pick the one you want to watch.
Raptors-Cavs?
Check in on it at halftime.
Odd. I don't know who's watching Cavs-Raptors unless you have a fandom attached to that.
No. You're not. Yeah. I think you're sticking on Knicks-Hawks unless that gets out of hand, and then you switch.
Then you're waiting for Nugs-T-Wolves.
Oh, everybody's waiting for that one.
Minnesota game. That's the series of the playoffs.
That is a proper nightcap game.
Yeah. I'm with you.
Fortunately, it is an hour earlier than last game.
I didn't want to do the 10:30 playoff game again. I had that with the Rockets, the Lakers, and then I had that with the Nuggets.
That's part of the reason why this week has been hard for me is because I know I have to stay up. Or, I mean, I just, as a fan, I want to stay up and see the end of these games, but knowing what's going to come, paying the price for it the next day.
I'm with you on that, but I'm looking forward to it. The Nuggets are 2.5-point favorites on the road. Are you howling?
Yeah, I might be dabbling T-Wolves on that one.
And then the Knicks, we got 3 road favorites today. The Cavs won. Like, you take the Cavs, okay. We got the Knicks are 1.5 favorite on the road against the Fighting CJ McCollums. And then you've got the Nuggets on the road against the Timberwolves, 2.5. Dude, I might roll the home teams today.
I was thinking
moneyline home teams?
At least, I mean, you might dabble in a Hawks T-Wolves parlay. But yeah, that's a lot of... Especially the Hawks and T-Wolves, I feel like got to put a little money on it.
The T-Wolves have a lot of respect, I think, around the league from fans because they've been in back-to-back conference finals,
Sure.
and now Ann Edwards is back. I still, despite them having beaten the Nuggets a couple years ago, I'm still going to be thrown off if they win the series because I thought the way they played this year, it's felt like, this is coming to an end.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have to reshuffle the deck a little bit.
Yep. And then they show up.
They showed up,
all
man. They've showed up in both
healthy
games.
and look out, yeah.
And they took the game 2 in Denver. So we'll have to wait and see on it. Plus, they had to call on defense. You know, Jay McDaniels like, we know what we do. We go out Murray. We got Jokic.
Yes.
We got all the bad defenders.
Yeah, see how all that plays
and
out
Denver's
in the
like,
next
let
game.
them talk then. Let them
Yeah.
talk. So we got some trash
Very
going
spicy.
on. We've got, is Jalen Johnson going to actually be good in the series? He's the best player for Atlanta, but it's not been the most stellar of starts. And so we'll see what Knicks Hawks is going to be at 4 and the Nuggets and T-Wolves. We wrap it up. Coming up next on 105.1 The Fan. Back in. Dirt and Sprague here on Portland Sports Leader, 105.1 The Fan. Thank you for hanging with us today. It's been a lot of fun. Brandon, you've been great this week, dude. I didn't know what it was going to be like. I've met you. You've been around. I haven't actually been able to work with you, so it's been great.
Yeah, I've had a lot of fun. It's been a fun week of no sleep and talking sports. So
yeah, welcome to the No Sleep Club. It's beautiful.
Can't wait to sleep in tomorrow. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, people are like, "How do you take 26-minute naps?" I go, "You know what? Because 26 minutes is a godsend for me.
You find a way.
You find a way, and you take advantage of that window." Swag is slated to be back tomorrow, and then Dirt says he will be back tomorrow. Big guy's out. He's got the old Teddy ball game-itis. He's got sick again. Got to be a record for him in a year of being sick. I think legitimately this is his fourth or fifth time getting sick. So, gang will be back tomorrow. I'm looking forward to NBA tonight and seeing what it's all going to be. Update for tomorrow's program because we'll have, obviously, Game 3 at the Moda Center. T-shirt, no T-shirt. Towel, no towel. Clappers, bangers, LED bracelets. I have no idea. Here is the funniest possible scenario. And we can have fun with this tomorrow when Dirk gets back.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a funny scenario. I walk you into the Moda Center. It's a 7:30 tip. You're in there by 6:50. You want to get a drink. You want to get some food. You want to, let's go play there. You want to walk around the concourse. You also want to see, Shield Tile says we're getting something. What are we getting, Shield?
Yep.
Gives you a towel. You're like, all right. Rally towels. Wave the towel. I get it. Let's get Petey Pablo on here. All right? Let's be a helicopter. I love it. I think a towel's better than a shirt anyway.
Okay.
Now you sit down at your seat. You got some time to kill. You're drinking a brew. Or you're drinking a Diet Coke. You know, your drink of choice. You look down at your towel because now you're in the lights, the bright lights. And you turn the towel over and you see something faded in the corner. You go, what is that?
Oh, yeah.
You look up and it says, Go Canes 2025. And you realize it's leftover rally towels from the Hurricanes playoffs last year. That Tommy Two Nickels has shipped up because he had too many made.
Yes.
And his one side it says Rip City, but the back side in faded font because they tried to spray paint the towels, it says Go Canes 25. And you're like, of course. Of course I can't get through one day without being reminded that Tommy Two Nickels is out here reusing towels. I will laugh at that happens.
Yes.
I don't really need to pile on because everybody else in the city has. I'm going to have a real laugh about it and go, hey, look at him. He's a real Portlander now. He's recycling. Good for him. Tommy Two Nickels, all about the environment.
Yeah. Earth Day yesterday.
We're reusing the rally towels from my hockey team.
Surprised that wasn't a post on social media.
Hey, thankfully, outside of a couple lines, we've largely gotten away and not talked Tom Dundon's cheap.
Yeah.
It's been a good show. It's been a lot of fun. NFL draft this night. Quick update. Victor Wembanyama is going to travel with the Spurs. This was just said about 20 minutes ago from Mitch Johnson, the head coach, former Portland Pilot assistant coach, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Wemby is going to travel with the team. His status for tomorrow's Game 3 is up in the air. He continues to progress through the NBA concussion protocol. I will lay a futures bet. If this was a Kalshi market, I will say I don't think he plays Game 3.
Yep.
I do think he will play Sunday.
Yeah.
So because of that and because of the way that you came back in a way that do you do that every time, everything has to be all in on Game 3. And that doesn't mean Sunday you can't win or you shouldn't care about Sunday. Game 3, I don't think they're going to have Wemby. Go get it. You're going to be at home, and we'll have a lot to talk about with that game and kind of the weekend setup that we have because tomorrow is our last show of the week, but we got a game tomorrow, and then we've got one on Sunday. So we'll be able to react kind of how 3 and 4. Monday is going to be a loaded show as well. So the gang is going to be back together tomorrow, and there's the update on Wemby. NFL draft tonight, CJ McCollum being hated by the Knicks. Is Ty Simpson a first-round pick tonight? And is it the Arizona Cardinals?
I'm leaning no.
He falls out of the first.
I think he falls out of the first.
Okay.
I think it's a Friday story.
Okay.
Because I just don't know what the Cardinals are going to do.
Cardinals, if they take him, if they don't trade out, all reports are the Cardinals want to trade in at the back end to draft him. Pittsburgh's on the clock at 21. They're going to be very interesting to see if they do
they're still
that.
dealing with the whole Rodgers thing.
Yeah.
Like, that's also a big question mark too.
Whole other animal. One note that we didn't get to in the Magic Hat that I want to talk about very quickly as we wrap up. Did you see Logan Gilbert's no catch yesterday in the Mariner A's game? So by rule, you cannot catch something in your clothes, but a line drive in that game, for those who missed it by the A's, hit Logan Gilbert. It got caught through like the
right
hole,
in the shirt pocket, in between the buttons.
Between the buttons.
Yeah.
He didn't even know it. He just knew it. It like struck him. He turns and looks for a minute. He then feels it. He's like juggling in his shirt. And then he like holds it still. And he pulls it out of the shirt. And the whole, like the stadium's going crazy.
Yeah.
But because of the rule,
Right.
it doesn't count as a catch.
Yeah.
Hot take. Ball didn't hit ground. Should be a catch.
Yeah. I agree.
Why
But
can't that be a catch?
I think just the precision of that to go in between those shirt buttons, because that's not a big window for the.
What, are we worried about people using their jersey to catch balls now? Get out of here.
Surprising to go through the jersey at that
crazy.
speed. That's insane. Yeah, that should have been a catch.
Make it a catch. What are we doing? Have fun baseball.
Come on.
Don't be a bunch of losers. All right, that's going to do it for us. Got a loaded lineup after us. The Firm, Duck Insider, Happy Hour, of course, and then Prime Time. A lot to discuss. NFL Draft, NBA playoffs, gang back together tomorrow. That's going to do it for me, man. That's 4 hours. Woo. Had a lot of fun. Thank you for filling in. We do appreciate it.
Yeah, it was fun.
And
Appreciate being here.
I'm sure we'll see you again down the road. Thank you guys for hanging out. This has been Dirt and Sprague on Portland Sports Leader 105.1, The Fan.